Good evening. Tempers flared at Universal Studios tonight when the park ran out of its signature drink, butterbeer. What started as disappointment soon grew into a noisy confrontation with security and police.
Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. It's Christmas. Yeah. Sleigh bells ring. It's Christmas. Gift in my hand. It's Christmas. Rap quick, more Christmas. Right up the block. It's Christmas. Yeah.
Yo, move. Back up. Oh my God. It's hitting the monorail.
Get ready to blast beyond your imagination at the all-new Epic Universe theme park.
It's the adventure of every world in one place.
Thrill through twisting coasters, journey through cosmic frontiers, and end your night under dazzling...
Buckle up, time travelers. Blast through the past, rocket to the future, and hang on tight as you chase the clock in the ultimate adventure. It's fast, it's furious, and it's only at Universal Studios Orlando. Back to the...
Hello, neighbor. Welcome to the Capture the Magic channel. I'm so glad you found your way here. I've heard that the host, Jared, is a very handsome and charming guy. And you know something? I think you'll enjoy listening to him a whole lot.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the live stream and the end of 2025. As it is New Year's Eve, and it seems, I don't know where time goes, but somehow we are already almost at 2026. So we figured we'd do a live stream here to round out the year, little afternoon live stream, because I think we all had stuff going on this evening. And we figured we haven't done one this early. I think I have. I don't think we've all been together doing one this early before. So we're going to talk about some year-end stuff, some predictions. There is an interesting event that happened at Hollywood Studios with the Indiana Jones stunt show that I don't think was part of the show, but we'll talk about all that stuff. But before we get going here, I just want to welcome all the guests to the panel. Of course, we have Orange Grove 55. Orange Grove, thank you for being here. I know Orange Grove's going to be here for a limited time, but he was gracious enough to bring his presence here. So where can everybody find you? And thanks for being here.
Yeah, I love you guys. And I'm actually on my lunch break, so I'll only be here for 45 minutes, but I wanted to be part of this. I want to thank everybody for joining us today on this New Year's Eve. 2026 is almost upon us, but you can find me right here on YouTube, Orange Grove 55, talking theme parks, studio, with these fine gentlemen all the time. So check us out, Orange Grove 55. Also on Instagram, Orange Grove 55, where I post a lot of nerdy content. No thirst traps, but nerdy content.
At least no thirst traps yet. I mean, you always keep those in your back pocket. You never know when the algorithm, asks for it. But thank you for being here. And we're joined again by Mr. Theme Park Conductor. Conductor, thanks for being here. Where can everybody find you as we round out the 2025 year?
Absolutely. You can find me on YouTube and Blue Sky at Theme Park Conductor, Instagram at theme_park_conductor, on X at Theme Conductor, TikTok at Theme Park Conductor 1, and every Sunday at 5 or 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for Conductor Sunday live stream as we break down Disney, Universal news. We speculate, we talk rumors, and we have amazing guests like the one and only Orange Grove 55, Jared from Capture the Magic, and soon to be Slime Square. I definitely want to get you on the show very soon, and so many others as we break down all this theme park news, because the greatest gift of all, we benefit from it, so why not?
Sure. It's a good point. Very valid point there. Be sure to check those out. And we are joined. It's been a couple weeks over Christmas break. Everyone's been busy, but we got Mr. Slime Square back in the house. So Slimer, thank you for being here. And where can everybody find you?
Thank you for having me, Jared. You can find me on X and Instagram at SlimeSquare84. You can find me on my own YouTube channel. Actually, it's going to have its third episode today at 6 p.m. if you want to check it out. Basically, I do little philosophy shorts on theme parks. So I do philosophy takes on theme parks. So nice. If you like that kind of stuff, go check that out. That's going to be on YouTube at Slime Square. Pretty easy to find.
There is. Actually, I really enjoyed episode 2. That was really good. So yeah, make sure everybody follow, subscribe, Slime Square, doing a lot of great content over there. So show some love.
And I will put everybody's, at least on my end, I'll put everybody's stuff in the descriptions. You can go check that out. And so go subscribe over there and check them out. But we'll kick this off, obviously, at the end of 2025. It is literally January 31st. And I figure let's talk about like maybe your best and worst of 2025. And then what is, if you have a prediction, or what about 2026 you're looking forward to, whether that's theme parks, entertainment, whatever it is. Orange Grove. What do you got on this?
Okay, so 2025 I think was not a great year for Dana Walden. I'll be honest with you. I was Team Dana for a while. I will admit that. I thought she brought a lot to the table in terms of like her studio experience and all that good stuff. Rupert Murdoch had a lot of great things to say about her. I still think she's a brilliant woman and a great executive. I just don't think she's handled her time at Disney, especially the CEO succession race, the best that she could. Josh D'Amaro, who I've actually been very critical of, has run laps around her and has really become the front runner. For any metric that you measure it, he is now the front runner. And so I think this has been a rough year for her. Do I think that she can pull out of it? I really don't. I mean, if they do like a co-CEO sort of model, maybe she can pull in there as like a co-CEO. I'm really skeptical of that. I think the best chance that she has right now, I think, would probably be like the president role. If they reinstate that at Disney, she might get that. I know Disney has a desire to keep talent, and she is talent. I mean, I will say she is, she is a brilliant executive, but maybe they'll promote her in some other way, like to president or something like that. But I think it's been a rough year for Dana. I think it's been a really good year for Universal. Epic Universe Open, it's been a big success. Obviously, like not perfect. I don't want to I don't want to gas them up too much, but I do believe it has been a huge success for Universal. And also, I think in terms of Disneyland Resort, I talked with Theme Park Conductor and our friends over there at Leaving Today podcast last night. Disneyland Resort has kind of had like a nothing burger year. Nothing new has really happened. I mean, we've had some Avengers Campus progress, Other than that, it's been kind of like, nothing too remarkable. But other than that, that's kind of like my 2025 sort of breakdown in regards to what I think is kind of happening or what happened last year.
I agree with what you're saying about Dana Walden. I mean, we even talked about in the last one about how she was even out there saying she doesn't like this competition. Like she wants it to be done, where that kind of tells you, I mean, most of the time when you're competing and you're winning, you're enjoying it. So one would assume that's kind of her little signaling there that, and I think if you look at all the stuff that's been out there for like the last 6 months, especially, it's all pointing to Josh. I mean, at this point, I think it's like 99% would be Josh with a 1% chance of someone else or someone from the outside the company going to be named CEO. So I would agree there.
Well, you know what, Jared, and that's interesting. I didn't hear that comment from her about she doesn't really like this competition. See, that doesn't really. See, I don't like comments like that because you're right. It shows that she doesn't feel very confident in her place in this whole race, right?
Yeah.
But usually successful people, especially people on that level, love competition. They thrive on that. And you're hungry for that. And the fact that she's like, I don't like it. I don't like the race. I don't know. I feel like that's a little defeatist, and I don't really like that vibe. And again, I could be reading it wrong, but I feel like, I mean, when you're losing and you're behind, you should be like, you know what? I love this competition. I'm going to go even harder.
Yeah. No, right? I agree. Her exact quote says, well, being pit against my colleagues, I don't appreciate because we have incredible relationships. We are a very tight organization. And then she also said, I have enormous faith in where the company's going. There is a world-class team at this company who is navigating the path into the future. Now, you might be reading a little bit, obviously, like she doesn't like being pit against her colleagues, but even that last part there about a lot of it saying we, the company, like it doesn't seem like when you hear Josh D'Amaro talk, he talks much more about seemingly almost as if like this is what we're doing. He kind of casts more of a vision. I do think he kind of puts out more of like, I am in charge, I'm going to be in charge sort of energy out there versus kind of what and granted, I don't think we've seen this article, but I haven't heard her like talk. It's been mostly Josh is talking, going to all the things. And apparently she's, given some interviews, but she's not really like in front of the camera, really like making herself like public. So.
Yeah, but you're right, though. I mean, that whole comment about like, I don't like being pit against my colleagues. It's like, well, but this is a competition. It's not like a mean spirited thing. It's a competition, though. Like you have to vie for the job, Dan. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Like I'm disappointed. I really am, because I really was bullish on her for a while, but I just feel like she's really dropped the ball.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that have happened with some of it outside her control. Some of it, she had that issue, with the presidential debate. Then you had the Jimmy Kimmel stuff. And some of that I do think was, you had Iger involved in it and things of that nature. But some of it, I think Josh has definitely kind of set himself out in front there. But Conductor, what do you have to say about the end of the year?
So 2025 for me kind of aligns what OG was saying. You know, some of the bad things that I would point out is here on the West Coast, not much Universal, but Disneyland seems to make a target of themselves. And the problem I see is not just with the theme parks, but just all aspects of the company. You look at the studio side, we can all agree the studio side has been going downhill like crazy. It's just been absolutely horrendous. And then you got all the stuff they announced for, at D23, Disneyland Forward, all these projects, and they can't even maintain what they got. They're going to build more. Then on stuff they announced years ago, they're barely getting to it now. Disney, at least out here, they love to sit there and sprawl projects out per quarter to save money. But in the long run, I think it's hurting them. I think it's a bad thing. I think they just need to cut loose with the red tape and say, you know what, the hell with the quarterly earnings, sprawl out project nonsense, and just follow Universal's lead and just start building stuff. Because when you look at the East Coast, Universal Orlando, Walt Disney World, they're moving so much faster. And I kind of feel that's why they seem to get a lot more done than we see out here on the West Coast. Also I have to say, with the ticket prices, the way they went up, it's not the fact they went up, it's how much they went up was absolutely absurd. That's just a black spot on the Disney company for me. The only reason at this point going forward I have a Magic Key is the mere fact that I do it for content purposes. I like to explore what the company's up to, because we could sit there in our home and read articles, watch other people's videos, but does it really do you justice? It's better to be boots on the ground. So that's why I continue to have an Inspire Key. Now, for the good part of 2025, I made new friends, new connections through my channel. That's how I met you, Jared. I met you in 2025. Slimer, I met you in 2025. I've been doing a lot more content with Orange Grove 55. Absolutely incredible. I've done a lot of theme park events. Absolutely incredible. I've grown my channel a lot higher. So that's my 2025 recap.
All right. That's pretty good.
Well said. And I just want to say real quick before we go on, Seymour Duck, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. You're amazing, brother. Mr. Seymour Duck.
Duck. I'm imagining he's in a pond that gets good Wi-Fi from time to time.
I think so.
Yeah.
Only the best for Mr. Seymour Duck. Only the best.
Gotta have that waterproof phone and or computer in the pond. But he makes it work somehow. So, all right, Slimer, what are your 2025 looking back, and anything for 2026 you're looking forward to?
Yeah, so for 2025, I think the best is going to be Epic Universe, hands down. That's the best thing that any theme park, anything has been done in theme park industry this year. If I had to do a worst, probably Disney's PR. Disney's PR has kind of been all over the place this year. They really dropped the ball just when it comes to the way they're communicating price hikes, the decisions of the price hikes, when they did them. Timing continues to be an issue. The way the executives continue to use PR incorrectly to communicate to their fan base. The Zootopia Better Together was a big miss. If you want to narrow down to the theme parks, I can do that as well. So best of 2025 for Walt Disney World. I would say the best was probably the Starlight Parade. And then a close number 2 would probably be Test Track 3.0.
Yep.
And then the worst for the Disney World theme parks was definitely Zootopia Better Together. Big disappointment in my opinion. And then when it comes to Universal, obviously Epic Universe. But overall, pretty hit and miss year. I think Disney World obviously got a lot more things than you guys did. I think between the themed bar experiences, I think they really elevated the amount of attractions attractions that were introduced into the park this year. And had it not been for that, it would have been a very, very slim year in terms of new experiences. But I'm not disappointed, really, to be honest with you. I didn't have an annual pass in 2025. Going into 2026 encouraged me to get an annual pass just because the amount of things are going to be rolling out. I mean, it started this year, but it's really going to be picking up some momentum into 2026 with, the opening of Thunder Mountain, with its new revisions coming into the first quarter. And then, of course, we're going to have some bigger things later throughout the summer and the end of the year. But not a terrible year. Kind of a lot to talk about. Let's put it that way. It was kind of like a Telemundo soap opera this year in terms of theme parks and the media conglomerates, with what's going on in Disney's end. Universal played it well this year. I think the only problem Universal had this year was Epic Universe just didn't open with enough attractions. I think they miscalculated how big and popular this park was going to be. I know Ministry of Magic, Battle of the Ministry still has like 6 or 7 carts that aren't working 100% of the time. That's a big problem. So there's a few opening year issues with Epic Universe, which were miscalculations, but it is what it is. Still a very strong opening for a theme park. Probably one of the best ones ever. One of the best ones ever. One of the best openings.
And speaking of Telemundo, shout out to the weather women over there.
Yeah,
they know how to present the weather. They do a very good job there.
They do.
No, I would agree. I think for the best, I would say Epic Universe opening, and it was funny. Kind of, you can the best, not the worst, but obviously the downside to that. Well, you did have the Stardust Racers incident where Kevin Rodriguez Zavala passed away, which was obviously a low point. But yeah, it does bring up a whole slew of things. They're already doing some expansions there, so I actually agree. I think when you back it out and look at the scope of it, it's hard to really know for sure, but I think it's one of the best theme park openings we've seen in terms of the amount of attractions there. But still, this park eventually will be fine. You look at this in like 10 years, you'll look back and be like, remember, it used to be like 100-minute waits for everything, and then kind of how that tends to go.
Real quick, Jared. I just want to say real quick though. I will say Universal did have a banger year overall. I do believe that, but like, I will say this, and it might be a little early to maybe even say this, but as we stand right now on December 31st, 2025, I think one of the biggest fumbles was missing out on Warner Brothers. I think that snatching Warner up would have been a huge thing for them, and on so many fronts, the licensing deals for the theme parks, the content, and all that stuff. And I feel like they kind of gave up and walked away from it. I feel like that was a big L for Universal this year, in my opinion. I think they should have fought harder. I do, in my opinion. But
the thing with, and I don't disagree with that. First off, real quick, shout out Mr. Seymour Duck for the 5 Canadian. Thank you. So the pond is very warm and lovely this time of year. I hear it's warmer than here. It's actually a little cold here in Florida right now. So he's gonna be down to like the 30s tonight. So for Floridians, this is all hands on deck.
No kidding.
Yeah, I think honestly, when you look at that, I would have loved for Comcast to have gotten Warner Brothers. Now, there is still the chance this is all going to go. Who knows where this ends up? Because I have my doubts about, even if Warner Brothers doesn't go with Paramount, that I don't know if this Netflix deal gets approved as it is. So there's still a lot of hurdles they'd have to cross. But, they might be able to, if this ends up being denied, there could be some other situation that it ends up in Comcast's hands. But more than likely, they were never going to end up being able to afford it, especially where it's gotten to now, like $100 billion plus. I just don't think Comcast was in a position to do it. But like we talked about before, they might have the consolation prize of maybe the DC theme park rights and some other things coming out of it. So, but I mean, I don't disagree. It would have been really nice for them to get it. I agree with Slimer too. I think Disney PR is an annual award about how bad their PR is. It's never been good. Like you would think over time that you would at least, type into ChatGPT, how can we be better at, PR, especially signaling like they're closing down the rivers. And when they announce things, I mean, technically it was 2024, but you weren't upfront and honest about what was closing down whenever you announced these new things, which I think led to a little bit of a backlash from the fan base in terms of closing the rivers, closing Muppet Vision 3D and all that stuff. So even if you're excited for those things, you still have the negatives of how it was delivered. And so I agree with that. Obviously, real downside. Obviously, Adam DeWoo passing away recently was just terrible, and it's been a year, a lot of celebrity deaths and things of that nature. But
Eddie Soto too,
yeah, Eddie
famed
Soto.
Imagineer.
And even on the video game side, I can't remember his name now. Vince, he was involved with like Call of Duty and Battlefield 6. He passed away like right around all the same time. So it's been a little rough ending of the year for sure. Plus like I will piggyback off Conductor. Getting to do a lot more stuff with you guys, meeting more people. It's been a lot of fun doing that because YouTube's fun, but it's more fun to do it with like friends and people that you enjoy hanging out with. So that's been good. I would say the worst. I mean, for Disney, I would probably just put it at the signaling of things. Like you can make an argument they weren't ready for Epic Universe. They didn't have they had shows and parades, but I think they're doing a lot of stuff to try and open up new stuff next year to try and have more attractions. But I definitely think Epic Universe opening though was the biggest banner. A new park hasn't opened up in that level for 20 plus years. So that's going to be the thing that takes up the most oxygen in the room. Looking forward to 2026, I'm very, very curious as to how Disney's, especially come at Disney World, is their attendance affected by all this construction? I think there's a decent question there about, does that turn away people given you got 3 out of your 4 theme parks opening up? Is Universal able to fix some of these issues with Epic? They seem to feel like they can, but they still have these wait time issues. And if those linger, does that hurt their attendance as well into 2026? I think is a decent little question.
I think it's a great question, Jared, because out here in California, we are much more of a locals market, right? Now, I think Disney has really fumbled with that. I think we could be more of a tourist destination if they actually put a little effort in, but Disney likes to, that's a whole other conversation. But being a tourist destination, though, like if you're going to plan out and map out a vacation for your family for, 7 to 10 days, are you going to do that during heavy construction? Well, probably less likely. Now, out here in California, when it's 90% Magic Keys, we don't care. We'll hop in for lunch and dinner and hop out. So the attendance isn't as affected with that kind of thing. In Florida, though, I imagine it would be. So it's going to be a rough little go around for, I think, Disney World. I mean, they had Epic Universe, and then the next couple of years, they're going to have all this construction. Animal Kingdom, I'm a vibes guy. I can walk around, drink a beer, and enjoy that park all day and not ride a single thing and be a happy OG. But most people are normal and not like me. So
most people are not vibes people when the park.
Yeah, I mean, most people are not like vibey like that, and so they're not. They don't really want to do that. I mean, they want to go in there and actually ride stuff. So
true.
So I think it's going to be a tough go for them, but I do think Disney will make it up. I mean, Villains is going to be huge. I mean, there's no doubt about it. The car stuff will be huge, so they'll make it up. But the next couple of years, I think it's going to be tough. I really do.
It's going to be tough, and I couldn't agree more with OG, both on the East Coast, but the West Coast, like he was stating, that's really where I'm very curious, because we've talked about it numerous of times. We've said, you got Walt's original Magic Kingdom, steps away from DCA. DCA is like the wicked stepchild no one wants. And then on top of that, you got all this construction happening. You got you possibly got delayed parades that they haven't announced yet, but I'm sure they will. You got all this construction. They're probably going to limit the amount of hours for DCA, which is going to make Disneyland even more packed and overcrowded. So it's going to be a rough couple of years, both on the West Coast and the East Coast for Disney. I don't think they're going to get out of this unscathed without some battle wounds, for sure.
Do you think it maybe go slower in construction in Disneyland because like Universal out in Hollywood is not really, they don't have a lot of competition on the West Coast compared to the East Coast? Because I think I argue you could see Disney speed up their construction timelines on the East Coast simply because there's just so much more competition. Universal's already building more things, and they just don't feel that out there on the West Coast, maybe.
You know what, Jared? You brought that up, and I actually brought that up on leaving today podcast last night, and I think you're onto something with that. I think this big push. I mean, that Encanto house is going up like crazy. I mean, it's going up super fast. I think there is a sense of urgency over there in Florida because of Epic Universe and Universal kind of riding Disney a little harder. Out here in California, out here in California, I mean, yeah, we have Universal Hollywood, and I love Universal Hollywood, but it's a small park. It's not competing with the 2-park resort thing that Disney has. So I can see them sort of sitting back going, you know what? Actually, back years ago, this is on Mice Chat. I mean, not Mice Chat. I'm sorry, Mouse Info. There used to be an industry insider on Mouse Info. Her name was Marcy. Okay, this is back in the day. And she used to like work for the company and stuff. And she would kind of like, you know, give us little tidbits on the forums and what have you. And she said back then, this is like 15, 20 years ago, but back then she said Disney internally in California sees Las Vegas as their direct competitor. Not Universal. They see Las Vegas as their direct competitor. Now that might have changed. I mean, this was like 2006-ish or so, maybe 2007. But that was interesting to me and very eye-opening. Where in Florida, I'm sure the mindset's different, you know?
Oh,
yeah, that does make sense. I do wonder what impact the Hollywood Drift Coaster will have for Hollywood out there going in, because I think that could be a pretty good draw. That's opening 2026, correct?
It is.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm wondering about that. And obviously, I mean, they are going to add more things to Hollywood. So I think they might take the same approach they took to the East Coast of adding more things to trying to compete with Disney more on the West Coast. But I mean, even Iger has said, and I think it was in Variety, he had made a quote about how Disney theme park construction is roughly 5 years, like at minimum. And they are making some progress now. And I know What's Up Wizard, he made a comment that Encanto was well under construction for a while before it went vertical. It's true. I've been doing the construction updates. I mean, they have gone vertical now. I'm curious maybe how quickly they're able to do that and how that opens up, given just I do think they're going to want to have more things to open rather quickly. I think you could see them kind of look at the attendance and how things are going the first couple of quarters. And if they really do see a little bit of an impact, you might see them kind of move a little quicker. But if they're not really hit by it too much, that's when I could kind of see them still kind of spacing that out more. If they're just like, well, we're not really getting hit by this too much, let's just do what we normally do. But it might just be a little bit of a wait and see game. But Slimer, you got anything to add about that?
Well, and not only that, but Josh Duhamel already laid out a 5-year plan, so there's no incentive for them to contract that timeline.
Right.
So
True.
Why create expectations that are unnecessary when you've already given yourself enough of a landing strip to where you can continue to open these attractions all the way out until 2030, 2031 if you wanted to. And then you can always reference your timeline from back in 2024 and be like, we said it was going to be a 5-6 year timeline. So I don't know why you have unrealistic expectations, because that's not the expectations that we set. And, when it comes to Disneyland, there's a lot of red tape when it comes to construction versus Florida. That's why we get things off the ground faster here.
Yeah.
That's not a secret. Everybody knows it. Yeah. Look at what's going on with freaking Avatar, Pandora over there. I mean, that thing's been in pre-production now for 3 freaking years.
Are you trying to trigger me, bro? Are you trying to trigger me?
As somebody who just like hears about that project, like obviously I'm not tuned into Disneyland as much. I swear I constantly hear like another update and it's just more planning. I'm like, when the hell are they going to do anything with this land? I heard about it like 10 years ago and it's still
Thank you.
Hey, we're thinking about doing something.
Look, I'm under the suspicion they're going to move this thing over to the Abu Dhabi park. I have a suspicion that they're just going to go, you know what? Let's not put that in Disneyland. Let's put that in the new Abu Dhabi park. It would probably even tantalize James Cameron at the thought of building an Avatar land at a coastal theme park. And if they're going to drop $1 billion in a new experience, why not do it in an international park where 2 to 3 times of the revenue of the box office comes internationally versus a domestic park? I think it's too much Pandora in one spot when they could spread this IP around globally. And I think it would perform better. And I think that there's more opportunities to do things creatively, putting it in Abu Dhabi. And I think that even now, 3 years after the announcement, a lot of Disney fans have given up on the idea of a Pandora park, minus OG. OG's the only one. He's holding out for it. But a lot of people are ready to move on to potentially a Zootopia land. And I think that we're seeing a lot of that coming to the forefront with this new movie, just striking a chord with the fan base as being a return to form for Walt Disney Animation Studios.
I'd be down for Zootopia. But here's my problem with canceling Avatar and DCA and just going forward with Zootopia. I feel like that mindset of like, okay, we have this plan, we're gonna do Avatar, and then something more successful comes around, Zootopia, right? Now we're gonna cancel Avatar and go Zootopia. I feel like it's like a Lucasfilmy kind of approach where like we're reacting to things. We're not.
It's right on brand then.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, and that's the issue. That's the issue. But I mean, I just feel like okay, they promised Avatar, follow through, you know, and do Zootopia. But I do want to say one thing though. We got Theme Park Conductor. He said, to be fair, Avatar's fault is reliant on the Eastern Gateway. Honestly, Wizard, I agree, but I also disagree with you on that. I do believe where there's a will, there's a way. I think that, like, look, the only part of that whole little area right there that would really be impacted is the bus load unload area, which they could probably find another acre or two to put the buses, right? I mean, do you really need the Eastern Gateway done and completed to start Avatar? I don't know, because most of it is Hollywood land. And yeah, you're going to lose your bus load area, but Disney can't find a bus load space somewhere temporarily in the meantime. I don't know. I just find that, like, I feel like they probably could if they really wanted to. And I just feel like that's a little bit of like a, you know, Disney sort of like, yeah, in my opinion. And again, I'm not like an expert on like, you know, the logistics of like, you know, the whole Anaheim thing, but like, I just feel like, you know, you can find probably like an acre or two to like put your buses, right?
Okay. I got a question for you. I understand buses at Walt Disney World. Okay. I understand it's a resort twice the size of Manhattan. I get it. Why do you guys need buses? Why not rethink this? Yeah, right. Why not rethink this entire transportation concept and make a contract with Waymo or
what about those long bikes where you guys just all pedal together?
Hey, Jared, you know what? Don't give California the idea.
And it's green. You don't have any emissions. I'm just saying. I feel like that's something right up the alley.
There you go.
Probably get a tax rebate or something like that.
I love it. I love it. And have you got? Hey, Jared, have you seen the Waymo stuff though? The Waymos have been driving into like police standoffs and stuff.
Yeah,
oh, yeah, I saw that.
All that stuff terrifies me. And what's funny, so speaking of like Universal, it's not really rumor. They are looking at some sort of like new transportation method from Epic to the main campus. Like there was rumors of a tunnel with Elon Musk company, but they've taken bids, and some of these are these automated cars and driving like Beep and some other ones. I think Waymo might be one of them as well. I think we end up seeing these pop up in the theme parks in the next 5 years, because Disney actually, I think it was a couple of years ago, they had a proposal where you had a dedicated lane that was separated from the regular traffic that was these automated cars that could take you around Disney World property. I think that stuff's probably coming, and it terrifies me because I don't trust it. I'm going to be that old man that's still driving a car. I'm gonna pay out my butt, and because what they'll end up doing in the future, not to go too far off the landscape here, people will say, well, I'll never stop driving. What they'll end up doing is making your car insurance so expensive if you drive yourself. I will pay it because I don't trust these things. I've seen iRobot. I've seen all these movies. I don't trust it because you're just driving through a police standoff and you're like, hey, should we not go? Like, who do you talk to? The robot? He's not going to listen to you.
All right. What if you're allowed to have a 50 caliber on the top? Would you drive it then?
That's a little different.
There you go. Now you're
not connected to the internet though, because if that's the case, it can override. You know, I mean, if I've got some stuff set up, you know, there's conversations to be had, but
everybody's got their price.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, 100%.
What if we have a cow like on the roof? Like, well, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm with you, Jared. I'm an old school guy. I mean, I'll take an Uber. I've taken Uber so many times. I have no issue with the human being driving me. Make a little small talk. We're good. A computer. I feel really uneasy about that.
Hey, here's the thing. I also don't trust humans. I don't like taking Ubers because I've had terrifying Uber rides where I'm just like, I might trust a robot more. I trust myself. Like when we go to the parks, like we'd bring our own car. I drive, unless it's Magic Kingdom, I'm always driving. I just don't trust other people. So I have a distrust of robots and of other humans because half the time, at least in Disney World, they don't even know where they're going. Like you'll be like, hey, take me to the Grand Floridian, and you're like, this is Pop Century, and they're like, well, and half the time they don't even really speak English. You're just like, this is great. I'll just walk from here because I don't know where I'm going to end up. So I have trust issues.
Jared, he hasn't told you guys, but he actually put his name in the lottery for the one-way trip to Mars to colonize it. So when they go up in 2030,
I just wanted to at least keep my options open, see what it's going to be like up there. I don't want to be the first one there, but once a couple people go, let's, at least see what it's like.
Hey, dude. I mean, that whole thing, we got to do a video on that, by the way. I want to do a whole video with you guys because we nerd out, not to get too far off the beaten path here, but like we do a lot of nerdy stuff here with like pyramids and all that about the possibility of terraforming Mars. I really want to talk about that.
Especially because Elon and some of these other people, like they legitimately are going to do it, or they're just going to try. I find it crazy, but yeah. Well, to wrap this up, I would say the biggest question going into 2026 for me is the Disney CEO process.
Oh yeah,
like they're going to name it early in 2026, and how does that go? Because I mean, there's a lot of pressure on the fact that you can't have a JPEG 2.0. You just can't even have anything close to it. I don't think there's much of a risk of Iger stepping around or coming back, given, and we've talked about this before, but like if Iger were to pull a JPEG again, let's say DiMaggio's named and all of a sudden he's like, actually, you'd be set with the same questions you're at right now, which is like, okay, Bob, who's the next CEO going to be then? So you'd be going through this whole process again. So I don't think that's much of a risk, but I do think Iger lingering in the back of just not leaving. Like, it's like, hey man, like, it's like you're having a dinner party and like he won't leave. Like you're trying to be like, hey, I'm getting kind of tired here. And he's like grabbing another beer out of the fridge. And you're just like, oh, okay. Like he just needs to go, whoever they choose. I think that's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. And,
well, no, you're right. And I said this on a podcast last night where it was like, I think that he's meddling in Dana Walden's stuff, like more than we know. I think that's a big part of why she's fumbling, because she wasn't fumbling like this at Fox. So why is she fumbling at Disney? I don't know. It's weird.
It's a valid question.
What's up, Cliff Flicks? He says, cancel Disneyland's Rivers of America and put Avatar there instead. I would never be that confident that Burbank wouldn't do that.
They might.
No.
At this point, it wouldn't be that shocking if that was the case. But
it wouldn't be that shocking, but I would vote no.
Yeah.
If you scroll up, Jay actually, Jay Shear, friend of the channel. What's up, Jay? Shout out. He actually asked a really good question. Let me see if I can find it here. It's pretty far up.
I'll look as well. I saw Jay. I popped in. I saw Jay said, "Hey,
it's at 4:00."
Okay, at 4:00. I see one where he just said hello.
Look at the East Coasters in the future already. It's only 1:15 here.
I know. We're already here. But what's up, Jay? If you find it, I don't see it on my end.
No.
All right, so I can't put it on the screen, but here's his question. He says, with Netflix getting hammered for woke, and he puts parentheses around it, for woke, which I can't believe we're still doing in December 2025 with Stranger Things, how does Disney navigate these waters? And I was actually watching, I just watched The Fellowship of the Ring last night. I watch it once a year.
So
I commemorate the Lord of the Rings movies once a year, standing applause after every single one, extended edition, of course. They're the best movies ever made. But I was watching a retrospective on the Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring, and there's this quote that just stuck out to me. It's the J.R.R. Tolkien quote, and when this quote was presented to me through the retrospective, I was like, this is the strategy every single studio needs to use moving forward in past 2025. But J.R.R. Tolkien here in his foreword to The Lord of the Rings in 1996 says, I cordially dislike allegory in all its manifestations, and always have done so since I grew old and wary enough to detect its presence. I much prefer history, true or feigned, with its varied applicability to the thought and experience of readers. So what he's basically saying is let the readers make their own applicable allegories.
Yeah. No, I would agree. I'm not going to go against Tolkien. Tolkien was a genius on that end for sure.
Yeah. He says if the reader wants to make an allegory, let them do it. But the purpose of the author is not to have dominion of what that interpretation is supposed to be.
Yeah. Sure. Real quick, Drunk 3PO is in the house. Says, I'm at Magic Kingdom right now, and I don't wish this on my enemy. Happy New Year. I would not want to be in Magic Kingdom on, especially like Epcot. I have no desire to be in that day. No, I agree. I mean, we're going to talk about Stranger Things a little bit toward the end, but I do think like I kind of hate how much exposition is in stuff now, where it's like it has to be explained to you explicitly versus I think really good movies and shows do leave it up for interpretation of like whatever your life experience and what you can derive from the story.
Right.
But I think so many times now that you just have creators that are like, this is what I want you to take away from it. And I don't want you to take anything else away from it, but what I want you to take away from it. And I think if you're giving people, let's say that the goal is not to try and shove it down your throat, but it's not allowing the audience to just have their own interpretation. And I do find that very tiresome and annoying, because you can have something happen to a character. I mean, Stranger Things is another example. You can have a lot of different things happen to a character that different people could interpret in different ways of dealing with something, but it's just down this one singular avenue. And yeah, I kind of find it shallow, and I don't need everything explained to me. Like I like when movies and shows used to kind of leave it up, like Interstellar, or no, what's Interstellar? Inception. Like I like when things are kind of open-ended, like they're open to interpretation of like what actually took place. I kind of miss stuff like that.
Well, like take Fellowship of the Ring, for example. the core essential theme of that movie is loyalty and friendship. I mean, you see it with Boromir finally, saying to Aragorn, you're my king. I'll ride with you anytime. Right before he dies, Samwise almost drowning to, say, hey, I'm gonna stick with you no matter what. We're gonna go to Mordor. We're gonna die forever. But there is a undercurrent. There's a theme. There's something you can take from it, which is an objective aspect of storytelling. What is that in modern? You don't see that in modern stories anymore. I don't like you have a situation in Stranger Things, for example. You want to go into this, where you have all these friends, and there's no theme about friendship and loyalty,
right?
In the current season,
yeah.
Where's what's the through line for this? Because if the through line is the last 10 minutes of the episode, it's no wonder that half the people that are watching it have an issue with how the story is being constructed and what the undertones of the story are.
Well, even like Remember the Titans, it's us versus everybody else. Like you come together as a crew, and then you like that's part of the story. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's not in Stranger Things, which I think it should be. And I need to rewatch Lord of the Rings again. I love those movies so much. It's crazy how well those stand up, especially like modern day stuff. It's crazy.
Oh, 100%. Now, real quick, fellas, I do have to go. I just want to say 6-7. No, just kidding.
That one in 2025 as well. If we're able to as a culture, I would be totally fine with that.
No, but I appreciate you, fellas. I got to get going, but have a great show. And everybody in the chat, thank you so much for watching. And I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one.
See you, OG. Happy New Year.
Take care.
Later, guys.
Happy New Year.
Real quick, we got Cliff Flick said, Jared, are you going to MegaCon this year? I might be. I haven't actually. I really haven't done much in looking at 2026 yet, but it's not far away, so there's a pretty decent chance. I will say. When is MegaCon? Is it in? It's in the spring, right? I think.
You guys would know. I don't know anything about that.
I have no idea.
It is March. Okay. That will depend. Possibly. Because right now my grandmother, she's been in a nursing home for a while, but she's kind of not doing well, so it's kind of I'm in like a holding pattern for stuff currently, because we don't know how it's going to pan out too much, but potentially yes, because I know that Conductor, you're coming down in March as well, so I might be able to hit both of those at the same time, so we will see on that one, but very possible though. I'd like to go check that out because it looks pretty cool. I've actually never been to a big con like that. I'm assuming you're going to go, Cliff, and I'm sure a bunch of other people are as well. But yeah, I mean, you guys, anything else looking forward to 2026 that you're like hyped for or predicting or anything like that, or just going to see how it comes?
I'm just going to play it by ear. Yeah. Because like OG says, I don't know. I kind of feel, at least here on the West Coast, East Coast is definitely different. West Coast out here, I kind of feel like they're going to go of the mentality of they announce something, then they kind of drag it on, and then eventually falls off the shelf and does nothing, and then they announce something else. So it's going to be that repetitive situation. So, and I do agree with you, fellas. When you look at Epic Universe, obviously Walt Disney has to respond. So that's what they're doing. That's why we're seeing, really slow construction at out here in California. I just personally don't like it because when I can sit there and have the same distance from where I live and decide to either go to Disney or go to Universal, if that's the game Disney wants to play, even though Tomorrow did say a 5 to 6 year plan, I don't know. I guess I'm just biased against Universal and the fact that they don't want to sprawl projects out through quarterly, quarters. They just said, here's a bunch of money, build it. Maybe that's just my mentality. But if I'm a consumer and basically I'm an investor by owning a Magic Key or an annual pass, I want to see progress. I don't want to see, projects they announce drag out. I don't like that. I'm someone that wants to see call to action. Now I get it. It's not gonna just happen overnight. But you can't tell me a project like a parking garage that has no guest area affected takes what now 4 years when they announced it 2.5 years. So
That's crazy.
That's where I have a problem.
Well, and some of it is like you look at Universal, they're hungry. They're trying to eat up market share. They're going to be more aggressive. Disney is a company that is, I mean, you could say in many cases they may have reached maturity. They don't have as much, they don't feel the need to push as much until they feel like they need to, which I think they kind of feel like they may need to out on the East Coast versus the West Coast. But yeah, then again, we talked about before, you've got all the red tape you got out there in Cali that you got to deal with too.
Well, I could tell you this, and we talked about it, like OG referenced several times, the Leaving Today's podcast that me and him were part of last night. And one of the things I said was, is it a possibility we're seeing, a faster pace for Universal and Hollywood compared to Disney is because, they have a lot more. They have a lot less restrictions when it comes to building new projects, and on top of that, they're going to be the epicenter for at least 2 weeks, if not close to a month, because you got the Paralympics as well. But they're going to be the epicenter of where the Olympics are going to take place in Los Angeles. They already made it very clear that's what's going to happen. So why not pour a lot of money, time, and effort, and that mentality of building stuff a lot faster at that park at the same time you're still building stuff for your East Coast park. So it makes sense to me. It's just irritating that I'm almost basically paying $2,000 for an Inspire key, and we can't even get a confirmation on one attraction closing.
Time to become a Six Flags fan as opposed to Disney fan, bud.
No kidding. You're telling me, man. I'm seriously considering it.
You're getting hosed.
Yep.
Yeah, the West Coast stuff definitely seems to move a lot slower. We'll see. Maybe they, we'll see what they end up doing. But it's funny. I check in on Disneyland stuff every once in a while. And I'm just like, they're still planning that. Like I thought I heard about that 15 years ago. Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna be a kid in the candy store when I go out there and see you guys, because I'm gonna be like, I never want to leave. I love this fast pace.
Especially as quickly as watching Epic Universe get built. Like that was crazy how quickly that went up and just it's wild there. But real quick, Cliff Flick said, I filmed Geeks and Gamers multicam event last year. I'm working with Jeremy to do it again. Love to see you there. I'll talk about MegaCon. Yeah, I'll hit you up, or maybe hit me up on Instagram as well, and then I'll let you know, because once it gets closer to probably February, I'll know. So as whatever happens with like my grandmother, because whenever we're expecting her to pass away, but if she does, I got to go back to Missouri and stuff like that. So it's just kind of all up in the air at the moment, but I would like to go. It does sound like a good time.
Definitely.
All right, let's talk about an interesting thing that happened at Disney World. And I say interesting is that we have I had an incident here where Disney World cast member injured saving guests from 400-pound runaway boulder at the Indiana Jones stunt show. So this took place. If you don't know about this, the Indiana Jones stunt show is great. It is a great show. But here we have a tweet from Scott Gustin. And we're gonna watch a clip here of what happened. See, let me see if I can pull this up and I can full screen because that'll be easier to see.
My instincts are tuned in because at first I thought this was AI, and then after I watched the video, I realized that it wasn't. But
dude, everything, like, you have to watch out now because, like, so many things can be AI now. Like, I'm very weary of anything I see now. I'm just like, is this real?
sometimes I wake up and I'm like, is this AI?
Yeah, I know.
Am I AI?
I mean, it could be a simulation. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's take a look at this. This is a clip somebody had of the incident. Oh my gosh.
Look at that.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah, he got leveled.
Man.
I'm still trying to figure out how the hell that happens.
Although there was a railing there. I don't know if it would have necessarily hit the audience, but
I didn't. Now, first off, I did not know that that ball was 400 pounds.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I was always curious about that because I've seen this stunt show a ton of times, and you always assume. But yeah, 400 pounds. I mean, and I do know that cast member, I think he had like 6 stitches, and he's a former stuntman.
Yeah,
that is the one. But I mean, essentially, I mean, if that went into the crowd, that would have been bad. If you're talking about a 400-pound ball, runaway ball there going into the crowd, like that undoubtedly would have caused who even knows.
Yeah.
Some
So
damage.
I definitely, and they put it here, like, I believe the actions of the cast member are nothing short of heroic. And he had, so after the cast member was knocked down, other cast members can be seen helping him. And it says that he appeared to be bleeding from his head and walked to a backstage area. And I do believe he had like 5 or 6 stitches. Now that I believe as well that they have removed the boulder from the show as of right now, trying to figure out what happened here. I hope this doesn't mean the show like has major changes or anything of that nature, because it's a great show, but I've never seen anything like this before. Like, that's crazy to me.
No.
Isn't it kind of ironic that that the ball that was, I mean, this is the scene where the ball almost runs over and kills Indiana Jones. It escapes in the stunt show and almost runs over and kills somebody. I mean,
yeah,
I guess I'm the only one who sees irony in that, but yeah, they mitigate a lot of lawsuits by this guy jumping in front of it. That's for sure. I don't know if it would have necessarily, there's a railing there. If you zoom into the video, I don't know if it would have gone over and crushed the kid. I mean, that would have been terrible, but this is the first time I've ever seen this also happening on this show. I don't think it's ever gone off of its track.
No,
but
all that ever happening. Yeah.
But now I'm wondering if they created this. I'm wondering if they created this incident so that way now they have an excuse to get rid of Indiana Jones Stuntacular and put another.
Bob Iger's back there, like, messing with it, be like, we want to get rid of this thing. I mean, look, it's coming from up high, and it clearly is got bounce to it. So once it gets there, I mean, you got right there. It's got one bounce, so that you can see the guy timing it out. Because obviously, like, he definitely, like, he jumps in like right here, and he realizes, like, okay, I'm gonna watch this thing and figure something out. And he probably figures I'm gonna get hurt here. But I mean, I think that's a decent shot. Look how high that is, though. I think it's a decent shot. It gets. It may not have gone to the crowd, but either way, I mean, the potential of it.
You did. 100%.
I mean, obviously at that point. I mean, and what's crazy is nobody had to tell that. I mean, he just instinctively got up and did it. I mean, I don't know. Thank goodness he was there, because I mean, if you let that thing go, I mean, who? I guess that's the big question. Like, who knows at that point?
Exactly. And Remy D says replace it with Zootopia, and then Cliff, he says Mike Blog Mickey has posted in the new show today with no ball now.
Yeah,
why they probably investigate.
Yes, and I mean, that's pretty normal when something. I mean, when you same thing whenever the Maleficent float caught fire on stuff, they shut it down for a period of time to figure out what happened. I remember going on a backstage tour of that. Really? We did the behind the keys, and they mentioned that float, and what had happened was the way in which there was like the way it fed the fuel, and they had to change that sort of setting, so trying to prevent it again. So there's, I mean, anytime stuff like that happens, you know, obviously going and figure out what happened and why did this happen. But I definitely think the actions of the cast member cannot be understated as to, you know, what, you know, potentially nothing could have happened. But at the same time, if that did get into the crowd, and that ball weighs 400 pounds, I mean, that could easily kill somebody. And given that ball weighs 400 pounds, I mean, I'm shocked that guy had nothing more than stitches, because he goes down hard when he gets hit.
Yeah, he looks like he got hit by a lineman, but
yeah, like just I mean,
I think between this, the dragon catching on fire, I mean, like which dragon at this point, right?
right. One of them.
I think the level of acceptability when it comes to risk for these parks is just going to become more and more diminished with these kinds of like stunt centered or pyrotechnic centered attractions.
Yeah.
I think there's just going to be a point where they're not going to have anything like this anymore.
No.
I think, in my opinion,
I have no doubt that stuff like this happened in the past, but not everybody had a phone in their pocket that had a camera. And now you've got
That's the
everybody
problem.
with 4K HD cameras that can capture all this stuff. I would be very curious if this has ever happened on this. I don't know that off the top of my head. But I mean, I hope that, the stunt shows don't go away. I enjoy stunt shows. Like I said, I think this one is a great show. I think the Bourne Stunt Stacular that's out in Orlando from a stunt perspective, if you take Indiana Jones out of it, it might be a better stunt show with the stuff that goes on in that show. Like I love that stuff when it's done well, but I hope that you have to wonder too about the liabilities and stuff like this, like incidents like this happening. If that would have got loose into the crowd, I mean, I think the scenario of this show shutting down, if this ball gets into the crowd, that becomes a very realistic potential of this being
for sure.
Okay, we're shutting this down because this ball got away. Like
But I will tell you this though, once they do bring back that feature, if they do, the cat's out of the bag now. We all know now it's not a real boulder, it's a giant bouncy ball.
I mean, I think we all assumed that.
Well,
I always assumed,
we all
assume,
but now we have clarification.
I legit now I wish we could see the beginning part because I'm just very curious, like what made it go off course? Because I've seen this show like probably 10 times or more over the years.
it's the wall.
You think it bounced?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It bounced off the wall.
Interesting. I mean, I would assume like there had to be, as many times this show's run, there had to be something or whatever caused that issue. But that was very surprising to see that.
I'm telling you, it was Iger. He said execute order 66.
Right here in the back, you just see Iger peeking out like, oh no, they caught me. Or it's Dana Walden because she's mad she's not gonna be CEO and she's like, I'll show them. Just,
Yeah.
knock it out of there. Oh man. Yeah, I would say the show would probably be done for if it wasn't for the fact that cast member stepping in. So I hope that guy gets a raise because that guy kudos to that dude for doing that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else in this article.
A pizza party at the minimum.
Yeah, at the minimum.
They're like, listen, guys, we're really happy. Greg here, I don't know the guy's name, but Greg here did a great job. Pizza party for Greg. And they're just like,
Well, at least there's some Mickey ears or something.
Or like just, you get a free meal at a restaurant or maybe a slight discount or something. Yeah, but that was pretty insane to see happen over there. But I agree. By the way, a lot of people in the chat saying the Bourne show is great. That show, if you guys have you ever seen footage of that, Conductor?
I've seen footage of it, but again, it doesn't do me justice. I'd rather see it in person.
Dude, it is so good. Like the way they integrate like an HD screen that I don't know where Universal's getting all these pixels, like what they did in the Epic Universe stuff and like that show. It looks it's hard to distinguish what's real and what's not. So the backdrop is not even like green screen. It looks like people are there, but the stunts they do in that are very impressive. I will just say.
I can't wait to see it.
I love that show. It's a little corny at the end, a little bit, but I still. Have you seen it, Slimer?
Yeah, it's a worthy replacement of T2 3D, and I'll say that it's very hard to follow up T2 3D because I was there opening year. I was there the first day it opened, I think, actually, but I wasn't there for the closing of T2 3D. And wow, that was a revolutionary show. But Bourne is a good follow up. Yeah.
I would like to see more. I wonder what the future of stunt shows is in the future, but I do enjoy like I said, the Indiana Jones one is great. I love Indiana Jones, so that's not, although they don't do the crowd participation anymore. I think they got rid of that like post COVID. I think they used to call people from the crowd and have you go do stuff. But
would anybody be surprised if they got rid of the show once the Indiana Jones ride opens?
No,
I would be honestly. I'd be a little surprised because shows are one of those things that do that show absorbs a pretty decent amount of crowds in that area. I'm not saying I wouldn't be shocked, of course, because I mean Disney shuts stuff down all the time, but I feel like it's still a draw. But unless they replace it, like, well, I don't know what, unless they had other plans for that space, but it's a decent size back there, and maybe they would. I don't know. I've never heard any rumblings about it, but that doesn't mean they wouldn't do something though.
Mm-hmm.
But
I could also see them. Last thing on the Indiana Jones, I can see them closing down the Stuntacular and then opening up a new, different Indiana Jones show where they do the Finding Nemo show in Animal Kingdom, just to keep Indiana Jones consolidated in one park.
That makes sense.
It's possible. I think, isn't the Indiana Jones stunt show like an opening day attraction for Hollywood Studios? Yeah. I mean, I hope it doesn't go, but I suppose we will see. Well, I saw this. See what you guys think about this real quick. It's a theme park, but it's not where you guys might be thinking. There's a new Dracula Land theme park that is being developed in Romania.
I heard about this.
1 billion, I think it's euro, entertainment, retail, and technology destination that they are launching here. It says located near Bucharest. I'm going to get this wrong. The 160-acre project is described as an entertainment, retail, and technology destination. It includes a 780,000 square meter Dracula Land theme park with 6 themed areas and more than 40 major attractions. It will also have a 22,500 seat multifunctional arena for concerts, festivals, esports competitions, and more events, and a luxury outlet. And here's some of the concept art for it. The founder says Dracula Land brings together everything I've learned in real estate. Well, that's not a good start. Discipline, rigor, vision, and ability to keep complex teams with very different specializations together. That doesn't sound the most promising. It says, more importantly, it adds a story that gives meaning to every meter built. So it's, would you guys go to Romania for a Dracula Land?
Oh, it's more than possible.
Here's the thing. I don't trust this. I've seen Dracula. I don't trust it at all. I think they're going to get you over there and then they're going to trap you.
True.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll be surprised if this thing gets off the ground, because there has been numerous park announcements now where the investors back out at the last minute.
Oh, so many.
Yeah, and I'm going to put that in that category.
I'm always very hesitant on new parks that are announced that are not from the big players already in it.
Yeah.
We saw that one that was proposed out in Oklahoma that was going to be the Disneyland of the Midwest.
Right.
That thing fell through. Do what?
I saw that.
Yeah, it looked like a cool concept, but it fell through very quickly. And apparently there was a lot of weird, apparently the guy. So this actually, a lot of this company is based out of Branson, which I'm aware of because it's in Missouri. Sure. The people, there was this really rich guy that they were trying to get him to pay for it all. And they were going to him saying like, God has told me to tell you to pay for this. So this guy was going into like millions of dollars of debt on something that was just going to be a money drain. Yeah, that's what it was called. Cliff Flick says Dracula Land is being made by the same guys as the American Heartland guys.
Well, I'm going to tell you fellows that I'm going to tell you fellows this: any gentleman or any person that starts a sentence with that phrase, you know it's false. Because I'm telling you right now, you don't start a sentence like that. God told me to do this. It's like, okay. If God told you to jump off a bridge, would you do it?
I mean,
no.
Depends.
I don't think I would.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where the behind the scenes stuff on that was nuts. But like even the ambitions, like I always had questions about like putting a theme park in Tornado Alley, considering like, you know, it always seemed like a strange location. But there's that new one in Vegas that that was proposed about. It's going to be like eras of like the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s.
I saw that.
It looks cool. But just this stuff, until it's actually built and opened, I'm just always very hesitant. I mean, same thing. You got the Barbie or the Mattel parks that they're supposedly building. Yeah, I'll see when I believe it. I mean, I would love for more theme parks to open up, but theme parks are expensive. You know, I think Disney and Universal many times make it look easy to do these things, but the money and time and resources that go into running, not even just building it, maintaining and running a theme park, I think is pretty drastic. And so I mean, we'll see. I think Dracula, that makes me think that they saw Dark Universe and was like, this is still relevant. I think we could do something with this, but
100%.
I don't know if I trust or Dracula based things, but all right, we got some super chats here to catch up on. Matt Muir for $10 says, I've heard all the Hollywood guilds are about to re-enter negotiations. They might be drawn out for some time to make absolutely sure there are enough AI guardrails. I have actually seen that recently. They could go into another strike, which would be not great. And we also have a $1.99 from Kiki and Luca to multiple channels here. So happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, Kiki and Luca. Thank you for being here. All right. So you guys want to talk about Stranger Things?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So the finale is airing tonight. When's it releasing? 8 o'clock Eastern time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm all caught up on it. This is going to be the grand finale of the entire show. What are your guys' thoughts on the show as a whole and like season 5 in particular? Are you happy where it's currently been going, or do you have some criticisms of it?
Slimer, go ahead.
So the show as a whole, let's zoom out, do a 20,000 foot view first and foremost. I think that the show as a whole has been okay. I think on average, I think it's been good to, I think it's been good. I think it's been a good show overall. There are some standout seasons. Season 1 was a standout season, obviously, because it had the benefit of being original in the first season of its kind. And then season 4 was another high point for the show. Season 2 and 3 were good, but not great. They were not as memorable for me. The stakes weren't as high. I feel like the stakes were a lot higher in season 4 versus 2 and 3. But this season has not been great, in my opinion. I feel like there has been some strong episodes, but overall, watching it, I have been watching this season. I've been watching this season alongside it, Welcome to Derry, and Welcome to Derry is a far superior show. Season 1, that is, compared to season 5 of Stranger Things. So maybe the ability to compare that to another horror timepiece show kind of gives me some more perspective to look at things a little bit more objectively, as opposed to looking at it from like a Stranger Things fans viewpoint. But the pacing for me, the season that has a lot of pacing issues, has a lot of through line issues when it comes to any sort of like allegory, if there is going to be one. There's no cohesion when it comes to, like, I don't know, just the stakes in episode. The stakes in episode.
There's no stakes. Like
the stakes in episode. Yeah, the stakes in episode 4 were high, but then 1 through 3 they were not. And then there was kind of some stakes in the volume 1, but then there's like no stakes in volume 2. So I'm not very impressed with this season, unfortunately. I'm hoping that they're able to do something with the last 2 hours of this season, because so far it's been a mild disappointment.
I agree. Apparently the finale, 40, I think they said 40 minutes of it is epilogue. So you kind of have like an hour and a half-ish to really wrap up everything that's going to happen here. I have the same thoughts. I think season 1 is still one of the best seasons of television I've ever seen. I think it was great. 2 and 3 were a fall off. They're not the worst thing ever, but they're really not as good as 1. 4 was a much more of a return to form. And I think the drastic drop off from like the end of 4 to like where 5 started, where all of a sudden like everything's happening at the end of 4, like they've broken through, and then all of a sudden 5, they're just like, well, we put some metal plates over it and we got a radio station. You're like, what the hell? Yeah. What? And then it's just nobody. It's so strange because there's, like you're saying, there's no stakes. And there's no like character development. Like everybody's stuck in the same place. Then you have the original crew that doesn't really even interact with each other. Now you got all these people part of it now. I do feel like the writing is very weak comparatively, especially season 4. So drastic of a change. And the dialogue is strange too. It doesn't make as much sense as season 4. And I think too, when you look at, there's nitpicky things, but it's like, what can we talk about how, and this is going to be a little spoilery, but like, Joyce and Hopper went to school with Henry, and yet it's never brought up. Like, not once did they go, oh, yeah, wait a minute. Wasn't that the guy that went to our high school? But like that act like they'd never seen of this guy before. The Nancy being Rambo, it drives me insane. The idea that she's going to take out a bunch of soldiers on a military base unscathed is just quite laughable to me. They're in like, can we check in on Ted? Like, did nobody care about Ted? Like Ted, like or whatever. The mom apparently takes on a Demogorgon. And I'd say the thing too is like, there's no consistent powers. It's like 11 at the beginning was like really, really strong. She'd been developing her powers, and at the very end, right before the finale, it's like she has a hard time lifting that plate.
Right.
And I feel like they've nerfed her because I think her powers would solve a lot of their issues in this season.
There's a lot of plot devices in this season.
Yeah, it's like so she's been sidelined. You got Hopper and Joyce that have nothing to do, in my opinion. They're just kind of there.
Mhm.
I could care less about I don't care about Robin, and she's become a main character. Like, there's just a lot of stuff on the character side that I don't care about that they're trying to make you really care about.
Mhm.
I have my doubts going that they can wrap all this up in one episode. Like, even if they're going to have an hour and a half to 2 hours to do it. But I went into this season also, like, shows don't wrap up well usually. The endings of shows many times fall off. So I didn't have a lot of high expectations for this, given that. You know, obviously we'll see, but I'm not going into it with a bunch of I think they're gonna I think they're gonna nail it. Like, I have a lot of questions, and that's before you even get into, you know, Will deciding to have his moment right before you're going into battle with Demo. You know, it's like, I liken that to being like you're like on D-Day and you're getting ready to storm the beaches, and some guy in the boat's like, guys, wait a minute. I don't like girls. Like, why are you telling us right now? We don't care. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
we're gonna go. We all may die. Like, this doesn't really matter. I feel like it was just strange timing for that, undoubtedly. But Conductor, what do you think?
So personally, I have to agree with both of you gentlemen. Season 1 was absolutely incredible. Everything after that, I don't know. It's literally like a hit and miss for me. Some episodes are great. Some are kind of like, this is boring me. I'm gonna go watch something else. I have to ask you guys though, because it popped in my mind after hearing you two speak about it. Do you think Stranger Things has gone? And I love Robert's comment. 10 years is too long for 5 seasons, but you know, do you think that? Do you think Stranger Things would have been so relevant and still attracting a lot of people to watch it if it didn't make appearances, and not to go off subject, but didn't make appearances at Halloween Horror Nights? Because obviously Halloween Horror Nights has a huge fan base. Huge. So I'm wondering what the comparison would have been if they didn't incorporate that into the horror aspect, one of the biggest Halloween events.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think the popularity of Stranger Things influences the Halloween Horror Nights, but not vice versa. I don't think it's the popularity of the houses that influence the popularity of the show.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think it struck a chord because, like, season 1, this is my opinion. I think this is some of the issues with the show I have too. Of, I think very clearly the way in which the show has gone season 4 and beyond was not their initial plan, because a lot of this stuff doesn't make sense either. Like, I think the season 1 was a contained story. It was very nostalgic. The 80s, a bunch of kids coming together to fight this unknown entity to get their friend back. And I think it was really well balanced, really well written. And you can forgive kid actors a bit more, like they're kids, but it's like a cute story that also involved like some, interesting elements. And as it went on, it's like season 1, when Will's in the Upside Down, like he does die and they have to resuscitate him. And it was like, remember, you can't breathe the air down there in season 1.
Right.
But now these guys are just, it's like a drive-through. They're just like coming in and out of that thing, like hanging out. They got a base down there, like no big deal. And apparently, like when Vecna tells Will, like, I always had a plan for you. I'm like, well, what was your plan when you essentially killed him? So I feel like I think it was a good move to create Vecna, because that puts a face to the bad guy. Because before it was like this faceless entities that you're going up against. And I think that's been an interesting thing. But I definitely think it does bring up issues because the earlier seasons, you can, at least in my opinion, I don't know this for a fact, but they didn't have all this in mind in seasons 1, 2, and 3. I think it became something after that. And as they've gotten older now, you can tell the ones that have taken acting seriously and the ones that haven't. And I think whatever you think about the scene about Will coming out, I don't think Noah Schnapp or whatever his name is, I don't think he's a good actor. So I don't think that helped the scene either. So it's just a lot of, sidelining of Elle. And I think she's going to have a much bigger role, obviously, in the finale and things of that nature. Then bringing back 8, I hated because she was also like the least liked. Remember that episode in season 3 where they showed her?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody liked that. So bringing her back into it, in my opinion, I think she's being controlled by, whatever you want to call the mind flayer or whatever it is. So
I've heard that theory. Yeah. I think that's a possibility. I think that'd be a very interesting twist if they decided to go that route. But my biggest problem with this last season is, and going back to the stakes, is that you have every major character still alive and none of them seem to die. They all have death cheat codes.
Yep.
And there are perfectly inserted scenes written into the story where killing these characters would be not just a really good send off for them, but it would also simultaneously raise the stakes to where they should be. Like that scene with Nancy and I forget her boyfriend's name.
Jonathan,
thanks. That scene, if they would have died after they broken up, perfect. Great.
Yeah.
That's one less plot line that you have to write for the next episode.
That's also a good point of trying to wrap up these little stories, and it would give it impact too. Like, and I think that's the issue too. Like, I'm wondering if they didn't do that, to be quite honest, because Will's whole scene of confessing, coming out to everybody would have been way more like, what are you doing right now if 2 people had just died? Like, the stakes are this high and then you're going down this path. I think that, like, Lost, I have issues with Lost, how that show wrapped up, but it did not hesitate to have people die, like raising the stakes of that. And I think this show is definitely missing that. I think there probably will be some deaths in the finale, but it's like, who are they going to choose? Because Hopper's been teased to have died tons. Like, how many times have they teased Hopper being gone? I would be very curious how they handle that. I kind of get the idea of Jonathan may be gone. I could totally see that happening. I don't think they're going to do anything. I think all the girls end up living, if I'm guessing. I don't know. I'm very curious. Like, to me, even if the finale is great, I still don't think this season is strong. Like, there's just so much time spent on, these episodes are like an hour and a half long, and a lot of it just doesn't go anywhere. Like, you could have compressed these down to like 45 minutes and have more impactful moments in the episodes versus dragging some of these storylines out that I just think were a little bit elongated, in my opinion.
Yeah, 4 episodes, a great season, it does not make.
Yeah.
If you have 7, 8 episodes and you only got 4 solid ones, you don't have a good season.
Yeah.
No.
You're batting 500.
Agree. OG says, didn't Hopper get blown up a few seasons back? Well, he did, and then he didn't. Apparently, he got drugged to a Russian prison for all of season 4, which was, I will say, I liked season 4. I really got annoyed at how long he stayed in the prison, because I felt like you could tell they were wanting them to all meet up at a certain point toward the end of the season. And so, like, when he escapes and then he gets recaptured, you're just like, okay. But the same thing with Holly. Like, Holly gets out of the thing and then she's drugged back in. Like, stuff like that, as an audience member, at least to me, I find annoying whenever, like, someone escapes a situation and they're just drugged right back into it. You're just like, well, what was the point? Like, why even go through all that? Like, you're just going to get right back where you started.
It was another pointless reveal was the true nature of the Upside Down. I thought that was pretty pointless.
I would have been much happier with more of a magical thing. Like, not basing it on science, because I think you could have done a lot of stuff with that. Because you're already talking about a world in which you have this upside down stuff. But I was a little underwhelmed by what it ended up being and the proposed science behind it all. I find a little, I was just like, like, it would have been kind of cool if it was like this, what they say about magic, it's science you don't understand. It's just like, we don't know what this is, but it's some sort of realm that has monsters. Like, you could have played with that for spinoffs, for never-ending spinoffs, to be quite honest, at least in my opinion. But
by far,
Yeah, my wife's all into like the theories. Like she goes down the TikTok rabbit holes and like, what do you think? And I was like, I was more like at the end of season 4, I was a lot more like, oh yeah, what's going to happen? I kind of hit this point now where I'm like, I don't think any of this stuff's going to happen that people are guessing. I just think whatever it's going to be is probably going to be a little underwhelming. So I might be impressed by the finale, given I'm really not going into it expecting a whole lot. So maybe that sets it up to be a better review on my end for it. But I think regardless, it's going to do massive numbers for Netflix.
Yeah, there's going to be a spinoff for sure.
Oh, there'll be undoubtedly. Yeah, undoubtedly be spinoffs there. But you guys going to watch it tonight? Or are you going to watch it like tomorrow?
No, I think I'm going to watch it tonight.
Yeah, I think we probably will. We're going to do some New Year's stuff with some family friends down the road and stuff like that. But I'll probably check it out. Conductor, you watching it tonight? Or are you going to wait?
I think I'm going to wait until tomorrow morning because I'm off. I'm off.
You're what?
I'm off tomorrow. So
there you go. Yeah, just don't go on Twitter, or you're going to have it spoiled. I would guess.
Well, I'm in the same boat as you. I'm not expecting much, so it's like if I get spoilers, great. I watched the whole thing, even better. But
yeah,
the way the season's gone, not impressed.
Conductor, do you watch? I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Conductor, do you have HBO Max?
Not so. I do have HBO Max. I haven't watched the Dairy episode yet.
That's what you need to get on. Is Welcome to Dairy. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna start watching it.
What if you hate it and clowns though, and you don't like horror?
No, I hate. Dude, no. Okay, you got me riled up now. No. I like clowns.
Just sounds get you riled up.
I want it to come to Halloween Horror Nights. So me saying that I hate clowns and I personally, for me, I thought the first 2 It films were amazing. Even the original with Stephen King and amazing. So I can't wait to check out the series, and I really hope they do make a 3rd movie.
Well, this is like a 3rd movie. I mean, really and honestly, it's on the same level. Yeah, it's on the same level. I believe the same director that did the movies is doing this one as well. Bill Skarsgård plays it. I mean, it's an HBO. I mean, it's HBO, so you know it's going to be good.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Now, I kind of understood from reading articles and whatnot that they it kind of starts off a little slow because they're trying to explain where Pennywise came from. Does that sound familiar, or am I off base? Like his whole backstory?
I don't think there's any episodes that are slow. I think all the episodes are pretty locked on.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
Even better.
Okay. Where are you going to put Soundwave at, Jared? Your rack's full. Oh, there he is. There it is.
Oh, yeah.
This one's actually easier to transform. I might transform it to show you guys what it looks like fully fledged. But my favorite thing, I just sit here in the office sometimes and I just.
Heck yeah.
Just play with it.
I love it.
It's awesome.
Pretend you got a bowl of Count Chocula. You're getting ready to watch your Saturday morning cartoons.
Ooh, there you go.
Just relive my child. Absolutely. I also have a little sound wave that I got.
Ooh, there you go.
Little buddy. Awesome. He just hangs out next to him. But I might check out Welcome to Dairy. We'll see. I mean, I'm not against watching, but I don't like horror movies, and I don't like clown. I'm not scared of clowns. I just don't like clowns.
Yeah.
So to me, I'm just like, I don't know. When things happen, like things taking kids, even before I had kids, I was like, I don't. And now that I'm like, I would kill this clown. I would do terrible things to this clown. Like I think does his mouth open up wide or something like that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I got some solutions for that problem. This is my problem when I watch shows, and my wife I don't like horror movies, but I remember watching the Scream movies with her, and I'm constantly I just talk during it. I'm just like, what are they doing? Like,
right.
You have a house full of stuff, and this guy has a knife. Like, pick up a table and like go to town. Like, turn this into like Royal Rumble. Like, I'm just
right.
If I'm going out by a Scream guy, it's not going to be easy. He's going to be like, holy crap. Like this guy.
I'm starting to think that this is written by people that like victimhood mentality, because it's like some 50 Shades of Grey kind of stuff. Like they enjoy the thrill of being chased by a serial killer because it kind of gets them off in a weird way.
Well,
it seems like those are the kinds of people that are writing Scream.
yeah. And also, like, I don't know what it is. You ladies love your like mystery horror, like murder dramas. Like just watching like husbands and like why do you watch these things? I don't understand. Like Dateline and stuff. I
say that to my wife all the time. I'm like, why are you watching serial killers again? She's like, yeah.
It's like it's I don't know. It's like I'm sure there's guys into it as well, but like it seems like all women just love these stories. I don't understand it, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna see if there's anything in the chat real quick, and then we got one more thing we'll hit, and then we'll get out of here. Let's see. OG said the 80s were full of Ronald McDonald commercials. Speaking of clowns, they were.
Boy, were
they were. Full. He didn't bother me as much, so he wasn't like super creepy, but he was still kind of weird. But he talked. I think that's the thing. When clowns don't talk, it gets really weird.
Yeah.
I never got the allure of Ronald McDonald. Like even as a kid, I wasn't like, hey, it's Ronald McDonald. I used
to like Grimace more.
Yeah, same.
Grimace. OG just said it's Grimace you got to worry about. I mean, Grimace is a psycho, undoubtedly, but it was always. By the way, I remember I had a nightmare as a kid, and I can still remember it to this day, and I don't know why, but I was probably like 7, 8 years old, and I had a nightmare that a giant Smurf, like Papa Smurf, walked into my room and picked me up and just carried me away, and I woke up like in a panic. And I like ran into my parents' room and I was like, the Smurfs are taking me. And they were like, what is, and I remember it vividly to this day, that dream. And I don't remember dreams. I very rarely, if I do have dreams, I don't remember them. But I remember that one is a massive giant Papa Smurf kidnapping me out of my bed. I'm like,
next morning, his dad's telling his mom, do you think Jared got into our LSD? Is that possible?
He found the stash.
You better go check.
And ever since then, I have not liked the Smurfs. I will put it that way. But yeah,
that's wild.
Wow. Yeah. Although I don't know if I was a huge fan of the Smurfs, but I remember that dream because my wife, like our daughter she really had like night terrors. Like she had a couple of bad dreams here and there, but she was like, "Well, do you think it's like bad?" And I was like, "Well, I remember mine when I was like that age." So let
me tell you about the Smurfs.
Let me tell you about these Smurfs that want to come and get you. Because they will definitely do that. Why is it not showing up?
And that's why Jared doesn't keep any Smurf toys behind him.
Absolutely.
Well, I can guarantee you when I come down there in March and I got him a Smurf toy, all I'm going to see is him ripping the head off the damn toy.
You just hear me yell, no! And I just run away. And they're like, what is wrong with that man? Like, he's got problems.
Every time somebody gets violently assaulted, he pretends it's a Smurf.
I mean, if I'm in a situation where I have to it's fight or flight, if I imagine that giant Smurf, like I'm going out fighting. Down. I'll tell you that much. Like this guy is motivated. Robert Polk says new series Smurfer things. That would be terrifying. Yeah. Giant Smurfs come out of like the upside down. Yeah, I'm running away. I'm absolutely. I don't trust those things. I never did. Haunted Mermaid says my grandma told me about the La Lorna. That didn't scare me, but extraterrestrials did. What is La Lorna?
Oh yeah, that's a horror movie. Well, that's a story. It's a Mexican folk tale about it's a story about a bride that gets murdered by her husband, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. This is something you can chat GPT, so I'm just talking on my butt. I think she gets murdered and then she haunts people and then she tries to take their kids. I don't know, something like that. Yeah, it's a pretty good folk. There's a remake they called La Llorona that came out a couple years ago with what's her name that played Velma? She's hot.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I just can't put a name to it.
Ana de Armas?
Nah, I can't remember her name. But anyway, she's in it. I thought that was a pretty good remake. I liked it, enjoyed it.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Cassandra Chamberlain says getting McDonald's for lunch as a kid was the best. Oh yeah.
Oh, Linda Cardellini. Linda Cardellini was her name.
Okay, never talking about that. Now, what's funny is how they talk about like Cokes taste better at McDonald's. It's actually true because they actually have a special formula. Like Diet Coke and regular Coke, it does taste different at McDonald's than it does.
Mm-hmm. It does. And I actually remember as a kid during the summertime, when they actually had the ice cream machines working, going in there for a McFlurry. Ooh, what a treat that was.
Did I used to get a 20-piece, by the way, the best meal, 20-piece nugget, and then you get a fry, and then you get sweet and sour sauce for the fries also.
You're talking my name.
That is the combo. To this day,
Yes.
I don't get McDonald's much. Actually, when we get McDonald's the most is when we go to Disney because they have that one right outside the All-Star resorts. So if we stay there, just go get that. But yeah, I was telling my daughter about like, oh, you put the fries in the sweet and sour sauce. She's like, really? I'm like, oh, it's so good.
So good.
What a strategic move, right? They're like, the Valley Resort people, people that stay there, they like cheap food, right? Yeah, let's put a McDonald's outside of it. It'll make millions.
Well, I'm gonna be one. I'm gonna be one of those because we're staying at All Star Movies, so my butt's gonna be at McDonald's at least once.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, for what you pay, how close it is, it definitely beats. Like, you can definitely get more food for your money. And I will say, McDonald's quality is hit or miss, but that one in particular has pretty good service. And the fries, I've never had the fries there that are bad.
Did speaking of fries, is McDonald's, is it me or did McDonald's teach you how to eat French fries without any ketchup?
See, I never liked ketchup with fries.
Yeah, that's where I got that from. I don't eat fries with anything.
Okay, I'm gonna be weird here. I don't use ketchup. I use ranch.
Ooh, now I like ranch. I like ranch on pizza.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Same
ranch.
here.
Yeah, ranch is a better general purpose condiment for sure.
I mean, from the Midwest, ranch is, as I've said many times, it's God's chosen condiment. It goes with everything. I love ranch, but it does have its limitations, I will say. Some people put ranch on way too much stuff, but I think ranch is a very versatile condiment you can use. Orange Grove says Jack in the Box tacos are surprisingly legit. I haven't had Jack in the Box. There's not one near me. I haven't had one in years.
It's weird because I can actually agree with that to a point, but it's definitely a hit or a miss. It depends on location and the quality of it. Because I've had some that are just like, okay, I'm gonna go order more, and then there's like other places, other Jack in the Boxes, like, okay, I'm done. I'm not eating this anymore. I'm done. So
and Jack in the Box has like a massive menu too. Like they have like everything.
They do.
And I have a kind of a rule. Restaurants that kind of have a really wide menu, I feel like most of the time aren't as good versus like, say, In-N-Out has a very small, tight menu, and most of the stuff there is good. I kind of feel like when something like you have a bunch of a ton of variety, it's all just kind of compared to like being really good at a couple of things that you make.
Well, like Orange Go 55 says, because I've been to Cheesecake Factory, and Cheesecake Factory is good, but way too many items on the menu, way too many. So
just give me 3 options.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to go to a mom and pop place where they make like 4 things, and you're like, they're still around because those 4 things are bangers. Like they have to be, because it doesn't make any more sense as to why they would be around still. At least that's.
And I can tell you what those things are. First and foremost, number 1, a breakfast skillet.
Oh,
if your menu has a breakfast skillet, I love you. I'll be back. Number two, some kind of a burger.
Yes.
Number 3, a melt.
That's that's a solid choice. Yeah.
And then for the 4th one, you can do, I don't know, man,
like a chili.
Something with a bowl involved.
Like a chili or a chowder that you're really good at. I feel like, if I'm going to a mom and pop place and they're like our world famous like clam chowder, I'm trying it.
Oh, same here.
Yeah.
I don't eat clam chowder, but something with a bowl. A chili, a chowder, a dumpling, serving. Yeah, I'm down.
I agree.
I don't even need a drink.
Yeah, just water. Water's good. Disney Diva here says, the nuggets back in the day and the 2 cheeseburger meal always came in clutch. Oh, yeah. Dude, when I ate so much food, and my son, he's only 6, but dude, that kid eats he'll eat like 10 nuggets at a time. So like I was a teenager, like I could not gain weight for the life of me, but I ate everything in sight. I'd go to McDonald's, get like a 20-piece. I'd get a couple of cheeseburgers and some fries. I would still be hungry. And we just used to go to town on that stuff.
Tapeworms, bro.
Probably. It's a decent shot. Cassandra Chamberlain. Also, I played like 4 sports, and I think I was always doing stuff. But that was my biggest issue when I started working out. Like I couldn't gain weight. And then I started taking. My doctor actually told me to eat peanut butter sandwiches and like Carnation instant breakfast before bed. And it's still like I don't even know how many calories I was eating, and I couldn't gain anything until I was like 17. I started putting on some muscle, but before that, it was just nothing worked. I could eat everything. Cassandra Chamberlain said, "Has anyone tried Shake Shack?" That's my go-to now. Shake Shack is good. I like Shake Shack. Like their burgers are good. I've only had it like twice though. I think.
I don't think I have one out here.
Conductor, you like this? We actually have a Cane's that is being built down here about 15 miles from my house.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to it.
And they have a
Cane's or Zaxby's. I've never had either one.
I like Cane's. Cane's is better.
Yeah,
Okay.
Cane's. Yep.
But I think Dave's Hot Chicken supersedes them both.
I need to try that. I've heard a lot of people tell me about Dave's Hot Chicken.
So I actually did try it because there's a town literally about 10 minutes from where I live, and I went there finally because I got it from Slimer. He's like, you gotta try it. So they have one. So I went there, and my God, Slimer, I felt like I was in heaven.
Yeah, it's good, right?
Oh, so good.
There's one in Orlando, in there.
I don't know.
I thought
I'm not sure. Every time I go to Orlando, it's just a theme park, and they don't have one at Universal City Walk, which they should, because they have one now at Universal City Walk in Hollywood. They should have one down here.
I agree. They really should.
There's a lot of ass restaurants at Universal City Walk that they can easily get rid of.
I was trying to say, I'm not a big fan of a lot of the stuff at City Walk. NBC Grill and Brew is actually really pretty good. The other stuff is, it's okay.
Yeah, Big Fire is good. Margaritaville's okay.
Yeah.
I want to try Big Fire. Margaritaville, I could pass on that. Big Fire. How about what do you guys feel about Cowfish out there?
It's kind of inconsistent. It can be good, but the last time I went wasn't as good. Although I feel a lot of these places fell off a lot after COVID, though.
Because that's kind of what we're having with our twosomes out here. Because everyone in Orlando praises that place.
I hate
here. Everyone out here refuses to go in there. It's so dead in there. I can walk in there and freaking say, "Can I have a private party for 100 people?" And they say, "Yeah, bring it on." they wouldn't even care.
But Twosomes is a cool looking place. Their milkshakes are actually pretty solid, but the food is not very good in my opinion. And that's kind of the same thing. They have a really big menu, and most of the food is just very it's forgettable. It's not like terrible. It's just not anything like, I don't think it's worth the money you pay to get stuff there.
I think my favorite joint to eat at Universal City Walk is probably Hard Rock.
Hard Rock's usually pretty solid.
Yeah. They have really good burgers.
Yeah, have you had NBC Grill and Brew?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I like because I know they hand make their dips and stuff they have there. I went into that place not expecting much, and it was pretty decently, and it's huge, so it's really not that difficult a lot of times to get a spot in there. But yeah, City Walk doesn't have a ton. The Mexican place back there is not bad. I've had that one before. I can't remember.
Oh yeah.
Antojitos.
Yes, Antojitos.
Yeah.
It's pretty decent, I will say.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I like Antojitos. How about? Do you guys have Vivo out there?
Yes.
How you like that?
Is it Vivo's out there?
I've never eaten at Vivo's. If we haven't,
I think you do have it out there.
I think we do. I never had it. I know that the Red Box Pizza place or whatever right there it's okay. Like it's good quick pizza. Like if you just want a pizza as you're leaving the park, it's not too bad.
I'll tell you this though, because me and OG are super excited for this. Korean barbecue that they're opening in our former space for Johnny Rockets, and we could not be more excited about when that opens.
I do like Korean barbecue. Like the ones where is it the type you make it like at the table?
Yes,
those are good. I like those. Yes. We went to one and they were like, there's a fee if you make food and you don't finish it. I'm like, that's not going to be a problem. Trust me, I'm from the Midwest. I'm not leaving money on the table. I will finish all this food, whether or not it makes me sick or not. I'm not going to leave it on the table.
Keep your fee human.
Yeah, it's like that won't be a problem here. Sean Norani, I don't know if I got that right, said you shouldn't have a menu that goes over 25 items.
Agreed.
That's probably pretty good. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty good. Pretty one there. See, and there's a lot of stuff down here. My buddy is like he does these barbecue competitions. Sure. So once you have barbecue level, like competition level barbecue, it's really difficult to go to these like quick barbecue places because like it's okay. Like I would say in park barbecue of Regal Eagle in Epcot is actually the best probably quick service barbecue I've probably ever had. It's pretty decent. But man, some of this barbecue you get at these places, oh, it's so good. It is ridiculous. And it's like they'll have like 3 things. And whatever they have for the day, they just run out. That's how you know it's a good barbecue spot because like there'll be a line, and once they're done, they're done. You just gotta get there early. I've got a lot of I like the food chat in here. I'm hungry now too. Haunted Mermaid says my son would eat a whole burrito at Chipotle, then snack after. Agreed. I've actually
what the heck?
I have eaten 2 Chipotle burritos back to back before.
Have you really?
I have.
Oh.
I have done that. It was before Chipotle got really big. I was out in Colorado, and we were there. I forget what I was there with some friends, and this is back. By the way, Chipotle used to be like much cheaper and had a lot more food that you get in the burritos. And I was really hungry and ate one, and I'm like, man, I'm still hungry. I'm just getting another one, and like maybe I'll just save the rest for later. And I just ended up finishing the whole thing.
I can't stand Chipotle now.
I haven't had it in a long time.
Yeah.
I sorry to say, and I might piss people off in the chat. I've given Chipotle about 10 different times, and I swallowed it out. Each time I've gotten different food items. I've gotten food poisoning every single time. So I'm like,
really?
Yep. I cannot eat Chipotle no matter what I try to do.
Have, Qdoba used to be in Missouri. I used to go to Qdoba, and then they started like really taking their portion sizes way down. Like basically, I don't eat out that much anymore because I feel like the portion sizes are so small and the food quality's gotten so bad. I'd rather just eat it at home in most of the cases. That's just me. Sean Narani says, yes, I wish I had the metabolism I used to have as a teenager. So not to nerd out, but you guys know that your metabolism, you have 4 metabolisms. You have when you're a baby, and then there's like adolescence till you're like, I think it's 12.
No,
and then you have the same metabolism from the time you're like a teenager until you're like 60s or 70s. But what happens is people's activity levels change, and people like most people have lost weight and then they'll gain the weight back. So every time you lose weight, if your metabolism is this, it kind of lowers your metabolism because when you're losing weight, your body wants to actually like it thinks it's in like a starvation mode. So it kind of wants to like create an environment to add weight. So as time goes on, it's not the metabolism, it's the behavior with food and all that. It just drives metabolism down. But technically, you have the same metabolism you had as a teenager. It's just, life and the way in which people eat and lose weight and things. That's actually what changes your metabolism. But you can build it back up. You can reverse diet. You can actually build your metabolism back up. But that was my nerd out moment for fitness.
Oh man. OG asked me if I'm going to go to Space 220. What do you guys think about that place? I'm sure you guys have eaten there.
I haven't been there.
Food's
decent.
I thought you have. It's not worth the money you pay, but it is a unique experience, and the food's pretty good. If you can, I would go to the bar and do that, but it's not bad. It's okay.
Okay.
Like it's worth like a one-time thing to check it out. Like it's sure. I'm trying to think I'm sure the price is higher now than it was when I went, but it's kind of cool. Like you're supposed to be like, you go up into a space station and stuff like that. Like it's, it's got some cool elements to it, but
okay.
Wizard says Vivo is the best restaurant ever. Just ate there with Universal High in Mondo yesterday. What is Vivo? Is it Italian?
Yeah, it's an Italian kitchen. Actually, I have had Vivo, and it is really good. Like if you for a sit down restaurant, it is not bad. But I think my go-to will always be my number one go-to will always be Bubba Gump. I love
I've
Bubba
never
Gump.
had Bubba Gump. That's another one that's pretty walk.
Because I know Slimer doesn't like chowder, but their chowder is phenomenal.
I love chowder.
And I will get their it's like a butter garlic pasta with shrimp. Oh, with garlic bread. Oh my god.
If you're a fan of, do you like seafood and like lobster bisque?
I do.
So Boathouse at Disney Springs has
That's
the
what George was telling me.
Best lobster bisque I've ever had. I've by the way, I've never had a bad meal at Boathouse, and I've probably eaten there like 5 times. Like it's and it's got yacht rock going on in the background. If you go there for brunch, they got someone playing the piano. It's a cool spot. I actually do love Boathouse.
Okay. I think I think he is going to take us there, so I can't wait to try it.
Yeah, and if you like an old fashioned, they have had that's the best old fashioned I've ever had was also there.
Really?
My memory's kind of fuzzy, but I think Bubba Gump has unlimited margaritas for $20.
I don't know if they still have that, but they might.
So, we're going to go.
Yeah,
Yeah, what the hell? Yeah, we're going.
Sir, you gonna have food? There's no need. There's no need, ma'am. I'm good. Disney Diva says best food in the park: ribs at Three Broomsticks and hot butter beer. Three Broomsticks. The Harry Potter food's actually really good.
It's very good.
The quarter chicken.
Okay.
And then you get it's just a big piece of if you want protein in the park, that's the best thing to get. It's just and it's actually pretty good.
Now I do have to say the hot butter beer, I tried it one time. I'm like, it's like literally melting toffee candy in a pot on the stove and then trying to drink it.
I agree. Now Disney Diva also says, did you have butterbeer ice cream? The butterbeer ice cream, I think, is the best version. But I want to try. I haven't tried they have the potted cream version. I haven't tried that one yet, but I've heard it's actually really, really good. But I definitely want to do that. I like all the food chat. Now I'm hungry.
Same here.
I know.
I'm getting hungry.
I know. All right, let's do this last story here, then we'll get out of here. So I'm curious. I want to get your guys' take on this.
Okay.
So I've talked about this before, but Universal has proposed building a transportation method between Epic Universe and the existing Universal Studios like City Walk area. There's been rumors of a tunnel with the Boring Company, which is Elon Musk's company. They are taking bids for this new transportation system. At the latest meeting they had about this, so this it's going before panels and it's definitely something they're taking bids on to do. So they have a bidding process going on, but you also have, it's believed Boring Company is involved on some level, of at least making a bid for it. There are also some of these, like we were mentioning before, Beep and some of these driverless car type of companies that are putting a bid on this. What do you guys think? Do you think Universal needs their own signature transportation method? I think they're wanting to get something kind of like a monorail, something that's unique to them, considering the distance between Epic and the main campus, other than just the roadways. You guys think they need it? And what do you think about a potential tunnel? Because that seems very interesting, but it might run into some issues with the water table in Florida.
That's Slimer, you go first. You and Jared are the experts on that because you live out there.
Yeah. Okay. So to your first question, is this a need or a want? I think that this is absolutely a want for the better part of, since Disneyland was created. I think that the monorail or some kind of public transportation system, it's almost synonymous with a theme park resort. And I fault Disneyland and of course Walt Disney World for that. But it seems like the Disney's or Universal's desire to embellish in public transportation to the level that Walt Disney World does, and to a much smaller degree, Disneyland. I think that resonates with people in a way that they feel like they're missing out of. I think they have a bit of the FOMO when it comes to that, and they want that. I don't think they need it. I think the 85 buses that they just recently acquired more than, I think that satisfies all the transportation from one side of the park to the other. Now, this is under the current park structure. This is with Epic Universe and what they have going on the other side. What I'm speaking of does not factor in any sort of future potential projects like a Universal City Walk 2, a second Epic Universe park, more hotels over in the Epic Universe area. So maybe they're looking at 20, 30 years down the road, and maybe public transportation is reserved for a larger expansion project that would necessitate something like a monorail or an underground tunnel, which I think is a lot lesser of a likelihood considering the water table level in Florida. But it's possible. I think right now, though, any procurement of a public transportation system is going back to your initial question, it's one of two things. Either they want it because, again, it's like part and parcel of a resort, especially here in Orlando, or two, some kind of expansion project a lot further down the road is going to necessitate more transportation that the current bus system just couldn't support, or maybe the streets don't support the amount of buses that it would require for them to have, a transportation system that would support the level of attendance capacity that they'd be projecting with a future expansion project that would double their attendance numbers by, let's say, 40 to 50%.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think as of right now, it's not a need, but I do think it's a want. But that's kind of where I'm thinking too, because they are going to expand more around Epic. I mean, there's probably going to be more hotels. There's rumors of another theme park they could build over there. They could also get more land somewhere else nearby, because they're not going to be able to do what Disney does, because they're not going to be able to own all that real estate in between. So I get it's not like a magical journey from, either one going back and forth, because you got to deal with public roads and all that stuff. And they have made road improvements around Epic that have made that much easier. I mean, it's a much better drive than it was 2 years ago, undoubtedly, when you go from the main campus over to where Epic Universe is. But I think I agree. I think they do want those optics of some sort of signature transportation method that people look at and say, oh, that's really cool. I would love to go check that out. Because the monorail monorail's old at this point, but it still has that futuristic feel, like, oh, this is unique. You got the Skyliner and stuff like that. And a little bit more about this. Apparently, they said they're open bids for companies to bid on this as to provide design, build, operation, and maintenance services for a point-to-point innovative transportation project. The agreement would be for 25 years, and bidders must have a minimum bonding capacity of $75 million, at least 7 years in business, and a project of similar size and quality completed in the last 15 years with a minimum cost of $25 million. Universal asked for an aggressive but realistic time frame. That seems like Universal's MO.
Yeah,
aggressive but realistic time frame for the future-ready system. So there's been people on the ground that have said the Boring Company has been looking at real estate to do this deal back in like the fall of last year. The tunnel is now, I think they seem to think they can do a tunnel. I agree. There's some logistics involved in a tunnel that I'm not an engineer, so I can't speak to it. But if they were able to do a tunnel, that would be interesting, because you could set that up like the Hogwarts Express, where you kind of have a video playing on it seems like you're going somewhere else than just in a tunnel. You could see that becoming its own attraction. But who knows? I don't know anything about building a tunnel, but I could definitely see a realistic way of doing automated cars that have their own little separated lane, because this is something Disney proposed like 3 or 4, maybe 5 years ago, of having these automated vehicles in their own lane that don't interact with the actual normal traffic. So I think they're more than likely, it looks like they're going to do this. But I do wonder how much of this is for the future, because you also have the convention center down there, which is going to be a big thing. So you got convention center traffic, you got Epic Universe, and they're going to eventually do like City Walk 2.0 and other things. So I think it could be just a way to relieve some of that stress, maybe off just buses alone, potentially. And whether or not this would be available to everyday guests or just like hotel guests. But it's intriguing to me. I just don't like the idea of automated cars, I'm being quite honest.
Well, see, I was just going to say that. I think personally, there's 2 options we're going to look at here, or actually 3 options. 1, we have no future transportation. 2, we keep the bus system, but that's kind of going the way of the dodo as far as I'm concerned. Or 3, the safest bet out of all of them, the tunnel, the Skyway, automated cars, I think the best option out of all those would probably be the monorail system, quite frankly. The only problem I have with the monorail system, because I watched, I think it was a video, I forgot who posted it. It was just some random person on YouTube, but they were saying when they expanded the monorail system for Walt Disney World back in the day, there were areas that they had to pour more money into what they originally were intending to do, because just the foundation that they were trying to put the pylons in place were not stable enough, so they had to do more work than they were anticipating. That's kind of like that water table swamp, type of foundation you guys have out there. But I think it would be more realistic to build a monorail system between all the parks than to try to burrow underneath the water table. And I don't think people would feel too comfortable with freaking having a computer drive them. And to be honest with you, buses are great for now, but 30 years down the road, are they going to really be that relevant? We just saw, what was it, not too long ago, one of the new and improved buses that Epic had exploded. And now it's, so
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think Universal has said this, but I have seen people propose a monorail. The issue I have with the monorail, and I did the math on this because I have questions about Disney's monorail, about those trains on there they've been there since the 80s. Like, those things are getting old. And the company that made them, Bombardier, I think is how you say it, they were sold, and I think a French company owns them now or something like that. But they would have to retrofit new monorails to make these fit, and the cost of it is extraordinary. And I've wondered many times if Disney would invest that much into just keeping the monorails. But I think when you're looking at the cost of it, a monorail system that stretches from Epic to the main campus would be very expensive. Then you have to put all those footers in. Like, I think it'd be difficult to get not only the money but also the landowners to agree to something like that. And I don't know about the tunnel system. It's a unique idea, but I don't like, Sean Norani here says you have to watch out for sinkholes. There's all sorts of potential issues you've got in Florida trying to do a tunnel. I think the more realistic thing they'll probably end up doing is some sort of dedicated lane for these automated transportation systems, because they will get better. As much as I don't trust these things, they will get better. I mean, there's some footage of the Teslas now that are pretty good at the self-driving, and that's only going to improve as time goes on. So I think they'll do something. In terms of a signature thing, I don't know how signature it would be to have like automated vehicles, unless they kind of had a theme to it, or I don't know, maybe make them look a certain way. But it is interesting, because I'm very curious as to, like, if they go this tunnel route, what does that look like? Because the one out in Vegas that they built was just for Teslas. Yeah. And I don't imagine that would be something something for like a singular car or anything of that nature. OG here says the Getty Museum out in LA has an automated tram on an elevated platform that might work for Universal Orlando. Yeah, I think whatever. I'm curious what their budget would be for this, because if you did a monorail or anything like that, it's going to go up significantly in cost.
Oh, sure.
Even like the Skyliner system too. I think that would be interesting, about if you were able to get all the landowners to sign off on having that near you.
Well, yeah, and I don't want to come off as somebody that has like a lack of vision. I'm pretty sure that they're thinking big, which is why they're pricing out what these these bids. They're price checking. The problem is how much are you willing to invest into something that's going to have little to no return on investment? And I mean, that's the reason that they haven't updated the Walt Disney World monorail in over 10 years now, even though these things are 10 years past their expiration date, is because it's going to cost them, I think they've estimated the figures to be somewhere upwards of $9 billion.
Yeah, I think I ran the numbers. If you take, we know how much it cost to initially build the monorail tracks and system. And if you took that with accounting for inflation, I think it's somewhere 12 to 15 billion was the latest estimate that I ran. So
with no ROI,
right?
And it's like, how are you going to invest $9 to $10 billion without any return on your investment? And if I'm Universal Studios, personally, if I'm Mark Wahlberg, I'm like, hey, kick that idea to the curb. We're not doing that. Go get, if you go to Lake Nona, right down the road, it's about 30 minutes away from Universal Studios. They actually have an automated bus transportation system for Lake Nona, and all the buses are parked at the Wave Resort. And the buses are, I would say, they have different sizes, but they're relatively small. But it's something they could easily incorporate into their transportation system, which would be like a signature thing. But I guess maybe Universal's thinking is that electric buses aren't something that they want to have as like a signature transportation system for what they consider to be a world-class resort.
Yeah. I actually think the cost is a reason they'll probably do this, but I would imagine they go with, on surface, some sort of automated system like that just from the cost. Because I completely agree. I would much rather see that sort of investment into new rides and lands versus just something. And if you're a business too, it's like I guess your perceived ROI would it be enough of like a wow factor to be like, oh, we got to go check this out because of this. But that gets really difficult to calculate. And I think new attractions and lands would do much more for ROI than a transportation system. But what is interesting, that Beep company, I only know this because my father-in-law almost worked for them. So they're automated buses, but they have a person that sits inside of them. So if something does happen, you have a human in there that can kind of take over, which if you're going to go that route, like that's a decent, fail safe, I suppose there. But I guess I wouldn't be surprised in the next 5 years if you do see this pop up, but I don't think it's going to be a tunnel. I don't think it'll be a monorail. I think they end up going, you could spend 25 million, something like that on a system like this. I think that's realistic on something you could spend on that might upgrade your transportation. If you're looking at this of, we're going to develop Epic more in the future, we're going to have a lot more demand on this area, and we need some relief off of the buses, I could understand it. If you're thinking, if you're kind of future proof your parks a bit instead of waiting until that problem arises, I could understand maybe why they want to do it.
Well, the other thing too is that the concept of having some kind of a monorail or a tram or underground transportation system for Universal Studios, the thought experiment is happening in a bubble, and it's not factoring in things like reducing labor costs, cutting operational costs, cutting overhead. And so once you start factoring in like the regular day-to-day decision making processes into this is not a viable or lucrative decision for the company. And that's why I say that they'd probably be better off looking at automated buses, outsourcing the buses. So like not even buying them directly, like hire a company that makes these and manufactures these buses for cities, that maintains them, that hires employees to do everything you can imagine in terms of overhead, and you outsource them, you pay them a fee, and you be done with it. And once you start factoring, like I said, once you start factoring like real business decisions, this is not a lucrative endeavor. This dies a dog's death.
Yeah. Well, and I think that could go into Universal does that with their hotels. Like they kind of become the, Lowe's with the hotels. You become more narrowly focused just on the park. So I kind of agree. Like if they're looking at these companies, I would assume they're looking at Beep and these other ones to manage and maintain it maybe. And that's not something you have to worry about. So I would agree with that. And the overall cost, I would imagine, is the most prohibitive part of this. But it's intriguing. I mean, if they decide to go this tunnel route, listen, I don't know how you do it. Like I said, I'm not an engineer, but I would be very intrigued by if they did the tunnel method. If they did it, I'm not going to use it when it rains. I can tell you that much.
Oh, hell no.
I would be, especially like during a hurricane or something. I would imagine you're going to have to have some fail safes for leakage and things. And that was a big question I had, but apparently the people on this board said that it is possible to do it. Now I don't know the logistics, but I suppose we'll see. But I would imagine it's much more expensive than trying to just do on surface automated buses. I think it's probably more than likely what they'll do. But you guys got anything to add to close this one out?
Well, I just got a text from somebody here that's watching the show, and they have some inside information.
Oh.
And it looks like they're actually moving forward with an Intamin Spin roller coaster as a new public form of transportation.
All right.
There you go.
Hey,
I like it.
work with Intamin. Bro, that would be awesome if they were like, actually, what we're going to do is a roller coaster. We're going to take you to and from, and we're going to theme it after Back to the Future. You're like,
yeah, and it's Intamin.
If you want your signature method, can you imagine taking like a roller coaster just all the way over to Epic Universe? That's a great idea. I'm in.
I'm down.
But what about those? They got those little one-person coasters they do on the sides of like mountains. Have you seen those?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do something like that. Like you control the speed and things like that. That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be kind of awesome.
I don't know.
Robert,
although if something happened, I don't know how you get people out. But I mean, listen, there's tons of things they could do. If Intamin wants to make a transportation system like a roller coaster, I think, hey,
I'm
all for it.
Let them try it.
Because you'd be driving by the road being like, I want to ride a roller coaster on the roadway. That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be
dope.
dope.
Then you have the
our folks as the Orlando Drift Line.
There you go. I love it. I love the name.
Absolutely perfect. I like
Spielberg Speedster.
You got to listen. Steven Spielberg gives you a spiel as you're going down too. I like it. You get to point and laugh at all the people on I-4 that you get to bypass all the traffic for.
There's like a basket with ET sitting in the front.
There you go.
I mean, yeah, you could have different themed ones. One of them could be like Optimus Prime. I mean, if that's the case, I'm completely in. Completely.
100%.
Shan Norani says, wouldn't be easier just to make your own road between and less expensive than a tunnel? For sure. And that's why I think they'll end up doing that. I mean,
yeah,
I would be pretty shocked if they went the route of like a tunnel or some other very expensive system. But especially, and we'll wrap this up, but we've talked about before about Comcast wanting to make more money from the parks. I don't know if putting up a ton of money for a transportation system gets you more money from the parks, given the linear assets they have.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So
I'm the things that I was trying to point out though, because when you think about it, a tunnel, or you got the Skyway, or you got automated cars that have no human control, it's all computer. It's kind of fears that people don't like. So that's why I mentioned the monorail, but I agree with you. Why spend $9 billion to build something like that when they could put $9 billion into Epic or Universal Hollywood, or who in the hell knows? Maybe even get into the cruise line business.
Yeah, well, I think they will do that. Now, the only thing I just thought about that could offset this, and it wouldn't shock me, is if the city ends up pitching in on this.
I think they would.
I would imagine they might, which that makes it interesting. If the city's willing to put up some money on this, then do they decide to kind of go bigger? Maybe.
Possibly.
And then you run into, what's going to end up happening? They're going to have these automated AI robots that are driving you around and conversing with you. It's going to be like worse than you can have the option of like no talking during my ride or talking, and they're going to try and create small talk with you with a robot.
Hey, the AI robot's going to look like a Smurf, so you're going to rip the head off of it.
I'm getting out of there. You just get in, they know you're like, hello, conductor, how is your day going? And he's like,
oh
it's fine, AI robot, leave me alone. Like that's it. That would be kind of funny. You just have an AI because they kind of sometimes they kind of go crazy. They just start telling you all these doomsday scenarios while you're driving. Did you know there are 45 deaths on this road per year? You're like, I don't need to know that, AI robot. I'm good without.
Yeah,
that's the C-3PO variant.
Yeah.
Like, don't ever tell me the chances, okay? But, all right. Well, I think we have come to the end here. I won't keep you guys any longer. We hit 2 hours. It's New Year's Eve, and I think we all got stuff we're gonna do potentially. At least
absolutely.
Not sitting here. I was gonna find OG still in the chat. It says big shout out to Jared for being an amazing host. Well, I tried. Theme park and let's go. Absolutely. Well, first off, thank you for OG for taking time out of your lunch break to be here. Greatly appreciate that. John Bradford says, speaking of Disney, I saw the biggest rat at the train station today. Looked like the damn thing ate a softball. Ooh.
Oh, jeez. Oh, boy.
Ugh.
I want to hear that shit.
Just a Ratatouille meet and greet.
That's all it was.
A non-3D edition, too.
That's it.
Absolutely. OG also says Papa Smurf 2.0. Yeah, that's my horror movie is a Smurf. If they make a Smurfs horror movie, I'll never see it. I'm just like, no. I know what they want to do. They take children. I remember.
No, they just take Jared.
Yeah, they'll try. That's why I work out for the Smurfs one day. I was like, I've been ready for it my entire life. The Rogue Attraction says, what if it was an Optimus Prime truck driving you? That's what I was saying. If you got like Optimus, you got Bumblebee, you got like Stars. Yeah, you could theme it after different Transformers. If that's the case, I'm all in completely. That's all I want I still have the hopes that my car will be a Transformer. Like it's just one of these days it'll pop up and happen. But
keep holding out, man.
One of these days, we'll see. I don't know if Toyotas become Transformers or not, but we'll see. But before we get out of here, I just want to thank you guys for being here. Thank you everybody in the chat for being here and participating. It's a lot of fun. And before we go, let you guys tell everybody where they can find you. And just want to say Happy New Year to you guys and everybody in the chat. Be safe. Don't do anything crazy. I don't get on the roadways for New Year's, but if you are going to be out, be safe, be careful, watch out for the crazies out there. But Slimer, where can everybody find you and your new podcast?
Yeah, hey dude, thanks so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. We wrapped up the year with the podcast, and what a way to go out, right?
Absolutely.
But yeah, man. But you can find me on X and on Instagram at SlimeSquare84. You can find me on YouTube at SlimeSquare. And again, I appreciate you for having me on.
It's always a good time. Slimer has really good insights from like, I was thinking that, but I just couldn't say it. Like when you and Jay talk, I'm like, that's how I was trying to sound when I say things. Because Jay and I will watch a movie. Jay will watch a movie. What do you think of like movie bad? And he'll be like, well, here's why it's bad. I'm like, well, okay. All right. Well, if you're gonna get technical about it,
let me give you my 3-point breakdown.
That's why you always let Jay go first, and then you get the points off of Jay, and you're like, yeah, like Jay was saying, I wasn't just gonna act like a caveman and say, I like movie make happy, yay. Yeah. Conductor, thank you for being here, and where can everybody find you?
Absolutely, and happy New Year's to all four of us, myself, you, Jared, Slime Square, OG. Always a great time. Thank you, Jared, for being a wonderful host. Happy New Year's to everyone in the chat. But you can find me on YouTube and Blue Sky at Theme Park Conductor, Instagram at theme_park_conductor, on X at Theme Conductor, TikTok Theme Park Conductor 1, and every Sunday at 5 or 7 p.m. for Conductor Sunday live stream, where we have amazing guests like the one and only Jared, Orange Go 55 in the future with Slime Square. Can't wait to have them on. And we break down Disney and Universal news. We speculate, we talk rumors, we let the chat join in. It's a bunch of fun. It's great. And a lot of times you guys hear me rant, so that gets people excited too, because they're like, yeah, I had a shit day at work. I need to hear a conductor rant. It makes me feel better.
Ranting is cathartic. It makes you feel better.
Yes.
I like to go on a good rant from time to time. Yeah. This is why one reason I started a YouTube channel is because my wife got tired of hearing my rants. And I'm like, well, the internet's going to hear them then, because my wife doesn't hear it. Somebody's hearing this rant, whether maybe it's just me talking to myself. But yeah, I always like a good rant. So anytime you want somebody to rant with you, I'm always in. You can find things. And I also say 7H John says holding snakes freaks him out. You will never find me holding a snake. I'll tell you that much.
Snakes are not meant to be held.
No, I was mowing like back in the summer, and I have really good peripheral vision.
Oh boy.
And I was mowing and I saw movement, and I'm like, what? And I literally, like 5 feet from me, there was just it was just a black snake. I ran so fast to the front of my house. My neighbors were probably like, why is he running sprints beside his house? I was like,
everything leads back to the Smurfs. You probably developed that.
It could be
from the Smurf. You know, Smurfs honestly come out of anywhere.
This is like therapy. I think I'm realizing all the things I've done in my life are because I was taken in my dream by a giant Papa Smurf.
I'm telling you right now, Slimer. When I land at Orlando International, if I see a Smurf toy, I'm buying it. I'm making sure I meet up with Jared. I get a picture of him at least holding the damn thing before he rips the head off of it.
Right, just destroy
I need
it.
that picture.
You actually just be going like, why would you do this to me?
Hey, right. I'll put it on behind this wall. It'll be permanent. It'll be a permanent installation. I can promise you that.
Every time I'm like, Jared, you want to come on? I'm like, not really. I keep looking at that Smurf and I get nightmares. I'm gonna have a nightmare tonight, probably from talking about the Smurfs.
I love it.
So if I do, I'll let you guys know. I'll be like, yeah, I had a terrible nightmare where the Smurf came back and he's like, I've been waiting for you.
So we meet again, Jared. You're like, my powers have doubled since the last time we've met.
I've been waiting for you. I'm just my wife's like, you were moving around a lot in your sleep last night. Like, yeah, I was dealing with some stuff, you know.
Dealing with some stuff. Forget it.
Don't ask me about it. I was gonna try and transform this sound wave before we go. And I don't want to break it. I'm trying to remember how it.
Well,
is that a Lego or?
It's a Lego.
Like a Lego. Okay.
Hold on before we go. Let me look real quick. It has instructions on how to do this. I don't want to like break it. These things transform, but if you guys ever done these, they don't transform the smoothest once they're built and they're Lego, so they can always break.
Oh boy!
Like at least it's a Lego you can move around. I mean,
yeah, you're supposed to be able to pose it, But like
Okay.
my Optimus Prime one, that thing does not transform well. Like it has all sorts of problems when you're trying to
Not
transform.
really. Nah.
Like stuff will fall off, so it sits in truck form.
Do you have a Bumblebee Lego?
I do. I have it right here.
Oh, cool. Oh, there it is.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Now we're talking.
He transformed. This one's the problem is when they're standing up, they're too tall to fit back here. So I just keep in the car.
Well, Bumblebee's not as cool as Soundwave, anyways. I love Bumblebee, but
I know. It's got the infinity
Ooh, there
gauntlet.
you go.
oh,
I
that's
love
cool.
it. I love it.
Okay, I won't break.
Yeah. Well, try to focus on Soundwave and not Papa Smurf. Okay.
I know.
Don't
That's what
do
I'm
that.
here with this. Like I know the leg. I know this thing comes down. I just don't know if it's got like a snap.
I wanted to get the Lego Ecto one, but it was like $200 billion.
Dude, these
So I
are
just didn't do it.
they're pricey. This is the only thing I got for Christmas, and I've been wanting this thing for like. I saw this thing whenever it was proposed because Lego will do that, like
right
proposing something. Okay,
Right.
instead of doing that, I'll show you the box.
Okay. Fair enough.
So that's what he looks like when he's fully transformed.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
it's badass.
dope.
Dude, it's cool. Like he's got the cannons and everything. Dude, it's awesome.
Yeah. It's badass.
It is
I
sweet.
love it.
But all right, well, happy New Year's to everybody out there. Haunted Mermaid says Capture the Magic needs the Smurfs music on his opening. I don't.
No,
Yeah, you
that's
do.
that's a copyright
I don't.
violation.
Exactly. It'd be copyright.
Yeah.
There-
Shan
that's true.
Norani says if you get him a Smurf, Jared is allowed to get a picture with a bidet.
Oh, God.
That's true.
No. Nope.
You
Nope.
gotta use a
Nope.
bidet.
Nope. Nope.
Not using the bidet, just with it.
Just
alright?
with it. Just a selfie with you next to the bidet.
Yeah.
You got to look happy about it.
Bull.
Robert Polk says free Jared from Smurfville right after Will gets saved from the upside down. I have a feeling I'm just gonna have a nightmare now about Smurfs.
Hey, Slimer, I'm gonna get a text at 2 a.m. my time, 5 o'clock your guys' time, and I'm gonna be like, what Smurf, what
I'm gonna be like Will, like drawing a picture of what I've seen. It's like the Smurfs were everywhere. It was like Nom. Anyway,
I was like,
all right, we're gonna get out of here. You guys have a good New Year's. Thank you for hanging out, and we will see you guys in 2026. Everybody be safe, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.
later.
Good evening. Tempers flared at Universal Studios tonight when the park ran out of its signature drink, butterbeer. What started as disappointment soon grew into a noisy confrontation with security and police.
Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. It's Christmas. Yeah. Sleigh bells ring. It's Christmas. Gift in my hand. It's Christmas. Grab a quick more Christmas. Right up the block. It's Christmas. Yeah.
Yo! Move! Back up! Oh my God! It's hitting the monorail!
Get ready to blast beyond your imagination at the all-new Epic Universe theme park.
It's the adventure of every world in one place.
Thrill through twisting coasters, journey through cosmic frontiers, and end your night under dazzling.
Buckle up, time travelers. Blast through the past, rocket to the future, and hang on tight as you chase the clock in the ultimate adventure. It's fast, it's furious, and it's only at Universal Studios Orlando. Back to the
Hello, neighbor. Welcome to the Capture the Magic channel. I'm so glad you found your way here. I've heard that the host, Jared, is a very handsome and charming guy. And you know something? I think you'll enjoy listening to him a whole lot.